You're listening to That's Pretty Dark,
the podcast where we talk about all the entertainment that scared us as children
and still haunts us as adults. So grab your flashlight and join us as we take a frightfully nostalgic look over our shoulders.
And under our beds.
And in our closets.
And together, we'll realize, whoa, that's pretty dark.
Have you carved any pumpkins yet? Do you have pumpkins?
I have carved 0 pumpkins. I
kind of
want
jack-o'-lanterns.
I really would like to. Every time I carve a pumpkin, I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. I can't wait. And then I get into the act of actually carving the pumpkin and I'm like, this sucks. Why do I do this?
It's hard.
I hate this.
It's hard. It's not as hard as carving the turnips though. I've never done the turnip thing,
but
I've seen a lot about it.
That sounds very difficult.
It's so much harder because they're dense.
I don't have proper tools. I don't have proper training.
You'll use just
I don't have the muscle.
Kitchen knife. No, it's hard. I don't know how more people don't cut themselves carving pumpkins.
Yeah, I just say keep me away from the sharp objects because sleep deprivation. Because
yeah,
it has been all That's Pretty Dark all the time for the last few weeks, honestly.
That's because it's always pretty dark.
It's always pretty dark around here.
Increasingly so these days.
Because that's our show. That's Pretty Dark, where my name is Kaylin.
And my name is Christian.
And we are closing out this 5th Pretty Dark October with a title that I'm shocked we haven't covered yet, as much spooky comfort as we've all craved in these last few years. And honestly, this whole thing, the whole time I've been working on this script, has felt sort of like deja vu to me. Mm-hmm. It's as if we have covered it before. I was having deja vu even today, even typing the project name into our recording software before we got started.
The same. I was like, this feels odd.
It's odd. It feels like we've done it before because it does feel so close to the show. It feels so close to me. I loved it as a kid. It really helped get us into that spooky mindset.
Yeah.
Me and my sister. And yeah, I don't know. It's just spooky and serendipitous to be here with you tonight, dear Darklings, for this cozy, familiar, and pretty dark favorite Halloweentown.
I didn't grow up watching this movie because I didn't have Disney Channel.
Right.
So I didn't see this till I was an adult. I didn't know it existed, I think, till I met you and you were like, there's this great movie that I love.
Oh my God.
You should watch it.
Wow.
And so I did as an adult. I watched it years ago, but it was fun to watch it again.
It hits different as an adult.
I appreciate it more now than I did before.
Exactly. Even as a younger adult, it hits different. There's kind of a middle ground where it's like not as relevant to you on either side of the spectrum. But as a kid, it hits really hard. And in midlife, which I guess we both kind of have entered, it hits really hard then too.
Just vomit up all those pumpkin guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really much to appeal to a 20-something in this movie.
Yeah, for a coming of age, there's really not all that much middle ground. But Halloweentown premiered on Disney Channel. Yes, it is a Disney Channel original movie on October 17th, 1998, and altered the brain chemistry of a generation of us DCOM kids, awakening our collective imagination about not only All Hallows Eve and the creatures, characters, and conspiracies it held, but about identity, belonging, and growing up.
It's just such a cozy, comfortable movie. Like, it's exactly what you want a Disney Channel movie about Halloween to be.
Yeah, it really is.
There's a whole layer of innocence, but then there's this like super, there's this heavy, dark threat.
There's generational tension, but only in the way really that most of us feel it in our lives. It's pretty overt, but it's like we all have been there. You know, everybody's been there to some extent, so there's relatability, so that makes it feel even more cozy.
It's like Hocus Pocus set in Stars Hollow.
Yeah, honestly, kind of, yeah. I would call it that.
All that meets Harry Potter too, because there's some serious Voldemort energy coming from Calabar.
Voldemort energy, kids and magic, yeah.
Never knew they were magic.
It just swirls everything together in a big old Halloween cauldron. Generations clash when 13-year-old Marnie and her siblings discover a shimmering truth about their heritage, a truth that has been mysteriously brewing under the surface of their lives for as long as they can remember. In a world with unpredictable magic and grotesque monsters, their mother is hellbent on giving them normalcy. But Marnie believes that normalcy is overrated, and instead gravitates toward her grandmother's weird, wild, and witchy. When unknown darkness threatens, she'll learn to rely on these relationships, snark like only a 13-year-old can, and stop at nothing to be true to the core of herself. The concept for Halloweentown, like many titles in our roster, came directly from the child of a television executive.
Oh, no way.
And a relationship also born of TV.
Those darn kids.
But I'll begin at the beginning. In 1986, Steve White, former head of NBC's movie and miniseries department, left the company to establish his own company, Steve White Entertainment. The Wonderful World of Disney, which is an anthology series that we talk about from time to time, had been bouncing around between the 3 biggest TV networks and had been airing on NBC since 1988. So, it's like this property that's like coveted, and the big networks, want their piece of that.
Sure.
So it changes hands and there are deals and whatever. It happens over and over. But ABC wanted to get the rights back, and they struck a deal with NBC, which included the condition that Walt Disney Television would produce 6 films for NBC in return.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a condition as part of the transition of this property.
God, I wish somebody would just say, sure, Christian, we'll let you do whatever you want, but you're going to have to make 6 movies for us.
Right?
Give me the permission, please.
It's all about the bottom line and about the money. But I had the same thought. I was like, this, on all sides, this feels like a pretty cool deal.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but they are subcontracting these other companies, which is how our story kind of starts. Because in 1991, Sherry Singer, Senior Vice President of TV Movies for Walt Disney Television, was assigned to collaborate with Steve White Entertainment as a subcontractor to fulfill the contract with NBC. So Sherry Singer and Steve White worked together as producers, and they ended up falling in love, and they got married in 1993.
That's so sweet.
Around this time, White told Singer, "I don't know where to go with this, but my daughter said to me, 'Dad, where do all the creatures from Halloween go the rest of the year when it's not October 31st?' And I know what you're thinking, Christian and Darklings.
Why didn't she just watch The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Exactly. But Nightmare Before Christmas premiered in October of 1993, so she didn't yet have the benefit of having Jack Skellington available to explain this to her.
Okay. But then when the movie came out, they didn't go, all right, well, that's your answer, so we'll scrap this whole project we're working on.
Well, they probably did, but it was a little bit too late.
So they didn't totally steal the name Halloweentown from the Halloweentown that Tim Burton created?
They did not.
Because that's always tripped me up. I think when I first heard about it, you were like, you ever watched Halloweentown? And I was like, do you mean the fictional town within the Nightmare Before Christmas universe? What are you talking about? There's a movie called Halloweentown that Disney made?
It's a little complicated.
How does that make sense?
It's a little complicated, and so is the timeline. Because honestly, maybe they could have modified it, but
Halloweenville.
Let me get there.
The town of Halloween.
It seems like they called it Halloweentown from the jump whenever they were first pitching it to NBC as part of this movie deal.
They had plenty of time.
Singer and White first brought in screenwriter Paul Burnham, who had to that point had credits including a few episodes of 21 Jump Street, Riptide, Hardball, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and a TV series he'd created called Deadly Games. Post Halloweentown, he went on to do the screenplay for the 2007 Nicolas Cage film Next.
Okay.
So, who knew?
Wow, yeah.
He did other things too, but Nick Cage is always relevant.
Working with old Nicky Cage.
And fun fact, he named the Piper kids after his own children, Marnie, Dylan, and Sophie. So everybody was getting their kids involved in this production.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, even with kids being such a focus in the premise, the first draft was geared towards an adult demographic.
Oh, I am curious.
I couldn't find a copy of this draft, but I would be very interested to read it.
Yeah. I think that's the version I want it to be.
Me too. When the script was presented to NBC in 1994, they ended up passing on the project, and Singer parted ways with the Walt Disney Company. A few years later, in 1997, the duo breathed new life into what then became Singer White Entertainment and revisited the idea.
I'm glad they didn't call it White Singer Entertainment.
This is when they brought the pitch to the Disney Channel, who also promptly passed.
Huh.
That is, until they aired their first ever DCOM, Under Wraps, later that year, to immense success.
Oh, the Mummy movie.
The Mummy movie, the first ever DCOM.
The first DCOM was a Halloween movie or like a spooky movie?
Spooky movie.
That's strange to me.
And it did so well, it's what launched Disney Channel original movies as we know them today.
Wow.
There is something so nostalgically fitting to me about the fact that all of these earliest DCOM concepts were dark and spooky. We have always been a generation captivated by darkness.
Is this kind of their response to things like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps?
I feel like it would have to be, because these things are successful for kids on other networks, and we don't really have anything comparable.
So we're going to do better than just your stupid little 20-minute episodes. We're going to do a whole movie.
That's a good point.
Suck it.
Disney Channel brought in director Dwayne Dunham, whose rise to power included editing for projects like Return of the Jedi, Blue Velvet, and Twin Peaks in the 1980s.
What?
He also had directed Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, as well as Little Giants.
So he worked with Caroline Thompson.
Mm-hmm, he did.
So how did he get involved in this little movie after doing all those amazing things?
I guess it was Homeward Bound, Little Giants, that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not knocking this movie. It's just, there isn't quite the the oomph
Yeah, we can say that.
behind it that gives it, substance and depth. Like
substance.
the Mary-Kate and Ashley movies. It's missing.
Yeah, Double
it's
Toil
missing
and
a
Trouble.
lot of
Consider
that.
doing that for Halloween. The depth there,
God.
though.
I think that's going to be an undying joke for our podcast.
Undying and undead.
Like the Addams Family.
Like the Addams Family.
Like That's Pretty Dark podcast. Like Christian Baxter.
And regardless of the depth, it seems that the network was pleased with their decision and director because he was then tapped for several more now classic DCOMs, including The 13th Year, Double Teamed, Right on Track, Tiger Cruise, and Now You See It. And I wish, Christian, that I could ask you about your favorite DCOM, because that's like a fundamental question that you would ask a Disney Channel kid.
Yeah.
But instead, I guess I'll direct that question to you, dear Darklings. Let us know.
I guess currently it has to be Halloweentown. I think it's the only one I've ever seen. So
The only one?
sure. I mean, I don't know.
We gotta
I
work
haven't
on
seen
that.
a list of DCOMs, so I'm not sure what all exists out there.
Personally, I got a hit of dopamine just listing those 5, and there are so many more.
No, I haven't seen any of those.
So many more. My favorite might be Pixel Perfect, but I don't know.
Was there one with a leprechaun at some point?
Oh, Luck of the Irish. Luck of the Irish is great.
Is that it? That's a DCOM?
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
you
my
would-
favorite one.
Yeah, you would like Luck of the Irish if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That one's a solid choice.
That's the one with the basketball, right?
Yeah, he plays basketball.
No, I loved that movie.
Ryan Merriman.
We watched that in school.
See, okay, then it's definitely not the only DCOM you've ever seen.
Yeah, no, okay, so Luck of the Irish and Halloweentown.
I mean, of DCOMs,
That's what I got.
pretty good picks.
That one's my favorite. Halloweentown's next up.
Anyway, Dwayne did an interview with Insider in 2018 that I'll be pulling some quotes from. For example, apparently when the movie was pitched to him, it was presented as a $20 to $30 million project,
Oh.
but the budget was actually $4 million.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
God, I've worked on $4 million movies. That's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yowza.
sounds like a lot, but
It's not.
not nearly as much as you think it is.
I can vouch. It would have been more, though, 30 years ago.
Yeah, it would have gone
It would
further,
have gone further then than it even does now.
for sure. They began principal photography in St. Helens and Scappoose, Oregon in May 1998,
Oh,
and from start to finish, it took 24 days.
Scappoose.
Scappoose.
Love to visit Scappoose.
Dwayne said it was a fun shoot because we were in this little town up north of Portland. The town was kind of deserted, so we took over the whole town square and everything.
Mhm.
It was ideal, like we were shooting on a backlot.
Kind of like when they filmed Casper. I feel like they're in that kind of
Mhm.
that small town
Just took over.
in New England.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of our Darklings have actually visited St. Helens for this reason. My sister actually did a couple years ago when she was a flight attendant. She sent me a bunch of pictures. And much like you were talking about with the Addams Family and like we talk about sometimes with different festivals, they hold a Spirit of Halloweentown festival
That's great.
there every October. I'm not sure for how many years. Yeah.
Did they have the big jack-o'-lantern in
Big
the town square?
jack-o'-lantern out in the middle, the whole 9 yards.
That's so fun. So that wasn't a stage. That was like an actual town square they filmed in?
That was an actual town square. Obviously, it doesn't
Nice.
always include the jack-o'-lantern, but
Right.
they bring it back for nostalgia's sake. Kimberly J. Brown often attends this festival, or at least has for a few years. And this year, I saw that Jackson Rathbone, aka Jasper Cullen,
Yeah.
was supposed to make an appearance because it turns out that some of the most iconic Twilight filming locations, including the Bloated Toad restaurant where Edward takes Bella,
Uh-huh.
and the Thunderbird and Whale bookstore where Bella buys the Quileute Legends book,
Yeah.
are in the same few block radius of these Halloweentown filming locations.
That's amazing because it's funny. I was actually thinking when you said like north of Portland and all these little towns, I was thinking of Seattle and like north of Seattle's Forks. And
I mean, yeah,
so I was already there. I was already thinking about
we
Twilight.
can't help but think of Twilight.
I mean, I can usually help.
It's been on the brain for me lately. I don't know why.
It did pop into my head. Yeah, I don't know why.
But some Halloweentown filming locations, many of which you can still visit, include the Nob Hill Riverview Bed and Breakfast in St. Helens. That was used for exterior shots of Aggie's home in Halloweentown, the John Gum School, and the Columbia Theater.
Oh,
And there's a handy map on the Columbia Museum's website. If anybody finds themselves in need of that, if you're going to be in the area, they have
mhm.
overlaid on each other so you can filter it or click which ones you want. They have Twilight filming locations and Halloweentown filming locations. So you
That's
can just do
fun.
a whole little tour.
I bet that place blows up.
Oh, yeah.
though.
It's probably so busy right now.
So that theater, is that the cinema where they go in where the evil
Yes.
is living inside the movie theater?
Mhm.
That's cool.
That's the theater.
I want to go watch a movie in there.
In an MTV interview, Kimberly J. Brown said,
I really love the town of St. Helens. It was the perfect location with the town square and everything. It really made it real stepping onto that set because it didn't really feel like a set. It felt like you were stepping into a different world.
I can only imagine being 13.
Yeah.
And like
No, totally.
this whole town is transformed for this movie.
That would be fun.
And of course, with all the set deck come the makeup and costumes. And Dwayne Dunham has been very effusively kind about the makeup and costumes in his interviews as well.
Who I think deserves special credit was the costume designer, Brienne Glitov. She's the one who came up with Calabar's flowing robes and his suit and top hat combination. I picked her when she presented her stuff because she was a person who had done a lot of opera and she just got it. And I knew just for Calabar and his flowing robes and Debbie's dress that it was worth hiring this woman because she'll get it right. And she did. And we really didn't have very many of those creatures roaming around. We had just enough, and we would double up and change costumes and make it look like there were more and different people and that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, and that makes sense. That's kind of
they're working on a budget, and
yeah.
I like that he selected the costume designer because she had opera experience, because it did feel kind of operatic, like it felt theatrical. And
I mean, yeah, costumes can make or break a movie. That's why Tim Burton continually uses Colleen Atwood.
Yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Power Rangers.
As for the music, though I don't have a ton of detail about the direction or how the decisions about the music were made, I do know that the score was composed by Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo. I don't think that we've covered any of his stuff before, but I immediately recognized him because he did Rugrats. So I feel like I grew up reading his name constantly, all the time, repeatedly.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw his name, I saw it in the Rugrats font. Supposedly, the character design of Chucky was loosely based on Mark Mothersbaugh.
What?
Yeah.
Like just the way he looked?
Yeah. His demeanor, I don't know. He also worked a lot with Wes Anderson, scoring 4 of his feature films. And other credits, not even close to all of them, are things like Lego Movie, Pitch Perfect 2, Thor Ragnarok, the Even Stevens Movie, and Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. He also did Tiger King, all of Tiger King. He did 23 episodes of Dawson's Creek. And interestingly, I just liked this little tidbit. He composed the music for The Sims 2.
Oh, weird. What a versatile musician.
This guy has been in your millennial head almost guaranteed, even if you didn't know it.
Get out of my head, man.
He's in there.
Stop it.
Dunham seemed really proud of this cast and crew and what they were able to accomplish, though it wasn't the $40 million project that he thought he would be tackling.
No, not at all.
And whatever they did, it paid off.
We were in the editing room and Disney Channel stayed at arm's length and they left us alone. And then comes the day that you have to send a copy over to the studio. And so we keep working, but in the back of your mind, you know that the studio has the movie. So sometime today, they're likely to watch it. And then you're going to get that phone call. And it's the one that you dread. And the phone call came through in the early afternoon and they said, okay, the studio wants to talk to you. So I walked over. And as soon as I said hello, all I heard was applause from the entire group that had watched the movie, the executives. It was just applause. And then it was congratulations. And that's the kind of call you like to get.
It reminded me of David and Jody in their
yeah,
their triumphant.
It has to feel so good.
Yeah, when you get the okay, when you get the sign off. It's so interesting to me, and multiple times we've now heard it, that a lot of these studios are pretty hands off, even Disney, and they make their tweaks and edits later in the process, which to me seems counterproductive and counterintuitive. But with the money rolling and everything happening and scheduling and all that stuff, that's how it works out sometimes. And so I can only imagine being this director where you've done this 24-day shoot, you've been editing, like burning the midnight oil probably, trying to get this done, and you send them a cut and you're expecting just, workflow. All kinds of notes and whatever.
No notes.
And they just applaud.
No notes.
Gotta be a good feeling. Is that how you feel when you send me an episode to review and I say no notes?
Yeah. On a micro scale, yes, comparatively.
Yeah.
But it is a relief because I'm like, oh my God. Oh man, I get to go take a shower, eat dinner. No, it is a nice feeling. It is a very, very nice feeling. Yeah. But yeah, that's not even, we'll fix it in post. We'll fix it in reshoots.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. That I can only imagine.
Damn.
I can only imagine. And it's funny, as I was kind of putting this together, we've had movies that were really dramatic with like big, complicated stories. And although this film took a long time to get made from like conception and the idea to reality, it seems like the actual process was pretty smooth. Sure. There are a lot of stories from set, but they aren't really dramatic. Everyone was just kind of like, yeah, this was fun. This was fun to do.
We made a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So that adds to the cozy vibes. And I hope that helps all you out there feel even more cozy within it.
But if they'd had the $40 million, what would they have done different? It's not, I mean, they would have had to rewrite the script because there wasn't much There wasn't enough there to warrant $40 million.
Yeah. As much as I feel like we've already talked about it, and as much as I feel like this movie belongs on our show, I have dreaded putting it together for years because I'm like, how much is there to say? How much do we talk about?
Yeah.
I feel that way sometimes. Like it happens, and you and I will usually get talking, and people have commentary and conversation, and it's always nice to revisit these things. But in this case, I just felt like all I'm putting on paper is straightforward. Here's this movie. It happened and it was cute.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like having less money honestly probably simplified the process.
Yeah, I think so. And sometimes we just need something simple,
More money, more problems. It's my philosophy. That's why
I don't make more money.
That's why I don't have more money.
But before we get into the plot, let's break down the cast.
Let's also lift them back up when we're done.
Yeah, I don't like breaking anybody down. Of course, Debbie Reynolds starred as Splendora Agatha Aggie Cromwell, which means that both Debbie and Aggie had previously unknown first names, by the way.
Oh, wow.
But she was the first person cast for this film, since she'd just decided to venture into television work around the time it was being produced.
Nice.
Debbie got her start at MGM in the 40s after winning a beauty contest when she was only 16. She was born Mary Frances Reynolds, but was told by a studio executive after this contest to change her name to Debbie because it sounded more youthful.
All right.
The misogyny wrapped up in this woman's entire identity is wild. Just what she had to endure, what she had to go through. And I mean, any woman in show business in that era, and honestly, still today.
Yeah, we've talked about a few circumstances like that.
And when I think about how this had to have impacted her, all I can think about are the echoes through to Carrie Fisher, her daughter, and how Hollywood has treated women as breakable and then proceeded to break them since the dawn of the industry.
Almost like to prove that they could.
Anyway,
yeah.
Debbie was selected to star opposite Gene Kelly in Singin' in the Rain before she was even 20, and she wasn't even a dancer yet. She just had to learn on the fly. But she excelled dancing and acting on stage and screen throughout the 40s and 50s in dozens of productions, with a standout performance in The Unsinkable Molly Brown.
That's fun.
A lot of people talk about her role in that movie. And even besides all of this dance and film success, she had her own show in the early 70s. One of my favorite credits of hers is that she voiced Charlotte in Charlotte's Web.
No, wow.
She did 12 episodes of Will and Grace. She had recurring characters on Rugrats and Kim Possible. She was Nana Possible. I feel like she just did it all.
Yeah, and here I am not knowing anything about her. I knew more than I realized I did.
I feel like often her legacy is tied into Carrie Fisher's being her daughter, but being the age that we are, Singin' in the Rain, maybe made appearance in our childhood, but she was in so many more films that generations before us would know so much better.
Mm-hmm.
We were right on the tail end of her career, but then things like this, they inject her into our lives too.
I can't hear Singin' in the Rain without thinking about the Great Movie Ride.
Me neither.
And waiting in that queue.
Me
and
neither.
Popping up on that rotating
oh my God.
trailer reel.
Every time I ever think of Singin' in the Rain, I am in the car in the Great Movie Ride.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Great Movie Ride. Oh my God.
I know. They should bring it back.
I miss it so much.
Bring it back from the dead. There's so many things they should bring back.
And things they shouldn't kill.
God.
I'm looking at you, dinosaur.
My beloved.
Producer Sherry Singer said, "When we saw this list, we took one look at her name and said, oh my God, would she really do it? This is absolutely unbelievably blessed and a terrific idea for casting. We never went to anyone else."
Why would you?
Debbie was a Cromwell witch through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Dunham said she was super fun to have on set because she came from this old school world where you'd shoot things in one take. So she'd be like, we're doing it again?
Yeah, she's like ready.
Didn't I do it right? I did it right the first time.
That's great.
And I'm sure I could continue to talk about Debbie, but I did want to make sure that we thank her for her legacy because she entertained generations and she lived one hell of a life of a showgirl.
Man.
And I don't mean for that to be insensitive with the Elizabeth Taylor reference.
Thanks, Debs.
Next up, Kimberly J. Brown plays Marnie Piper for at least the first 3 movies.
How many are there?
4.
Jesus.
I feel like Kimberly is really well known for not having had that many credits. It just feels that way to me.
Mm-hmm.
She got her start on an episode of The Babysitters Club in 1990 and did a handful of other TV jobs before landing the role of Marnie. Afterwards, she had a voice role as an extra in A Bug's Life. Oh. She did 2 episodes of Two of a Kind, Olsen involvement, so I'm obligated to mention that.
Sure.
Another DCOM called Quince, which I remember really liking as a kid, and a few other TV credits, including significant soap roles in both Guiding Light and General Hospital. Her IMDb says she's in a new TV movie out this year called Haul Out the Halloween.
Oh, yeah, I've seen promos for that.
It's the Lacey Chabert. I don't remember which channel she's working with. It's not Hallmark, or maybe it is. I don't know.
It's Hallmark, I think, because they did the Haul Out the Christmas last year. Oh. They're doing Haul Out the Halloween. It's like a series.
So
now.
It's like a decorating neighbor suburban. Okay. All right. Well, that's out there if you're interested.
It's one of those, quaint, cozy things that like my cousins will watch. My mom will watch it.
I don't know that I've ever seen a Hallmark original movie. I don't know that I've ever seen one.
If you need any recommendations, you could ask Pam.
I will. That'd be lovely. Pam, please advise. But I know what you're all thinking of and waiting for. And if you've ever wondered why they recast the character of Marnie in the fourth Halloweentown movie, yeah, me too. I had always assumed that it was because she was unavailable or working elsewhere. Like sometimes that just happens where it doesn't work out, with timing, etc. But nay.
Does she get too old?
In one of the worst studio decisions that I can think of for our generation, no offense to Sarah Paxton, who stepped into the role, they said that they felt the character of Marnie should have been played by a younger actress than Kimberly was at the time. Mm-hmm. The character was exactly as old as Kimberly.
So why continue to write
why?
the character into movies?
Why? How come?
She's too old for the story you've written her for.
Thank you.
That's a bullshit excuse, if you ask me.
That's a bullshit excuse because they thought Kimberly looked too old. She was Marnie. She was 13 when she filmed this movie in which Marnie is 13. Like, it's misogynistic. It's everything about it was gross. I've always been upset by that decision. Not that I was like super big into the sequels. I remember watching the original movie a lot. I have seen the sequels maybe one time each. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that I poured over.
Sure.
But
still,
knowing that Marnie wasn't Marnie.
On principle.
Yeah. Just turned me off of the whole thing anyway.
Yeah. You write a new character.
Just write a new story.
Character. Stop. Yeah.
They had everybody else but her.
It sounds like the actress wasn't too old. The story was too old. Get some new shit, Disney.
Woof. I'm still mad about it.
Yeah. I didn't even know about it. You know what? I'm a little bit miffed.
Me too. So, Kimberly, we're putting it out there that we stand with you, and anytime you want to get pretty dark, you are more than welcome to come chat with us.
Come on the show. You can talk about how many different ways you like potatoes. And what do you carve into your jack-o'-lantern pumpkins?
We ask the hard-hitting questions. Judith Hoag starred as Gwen Piper. She had done a handful of short-lived TV series before Halloweentown, and she had notably played April O'Neil in the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hey.
Her casting story was interesting because she said that she had a meeting with the head of Disney Television, and when she walked in, he was like, "Oh, we're big Ninja Turtle fans in our house." So
a bunch of murderers out there just convincing children to kill their friends.
Yeah, good times.
Don't they know they're accepting the devil into their house?
We're referencing the Power Rangers episode, Darklings, if you are
you guys don't know what I'm talking about.
If you hadn't heard that one yet.
Brutal gang violence.
But because of the way that he was acting, she said she kind of knew in the room that she'd gotten the job.
Nice. That's fun.
Has to be a good feeling when you've done a role like that. And, the executive that you're working with is like, my kids love you.
Well, my kids like you, so I think you're in.
She has been in like an episode or two of so many shows, like just all over TV for decades and decades. The Nanny, Quantum Leap, Murder, She Wrote, Mad About You, Nash Bridges, The X-Files, Seventh Heaven, Bones, Ghost Whisperer, Grey's, and even recently several episodes of The Magicians.
Oh, it's fun.
And she also returned for all 3 additional Halloweentown films. Judith has done a lot of like interviews and conventions, and she had some pretty good insight about her character in a quote that I found. She said, "Gwen was described to me as a Martha Stewart kind of character. She was the quintessential perfect person. Her house was perfect and her hair was perfect. Everything she cooked was perfect. But when I went to my first fitting, I had the most imperfect wardrobe waiting for me." She said it had been tailored imperfectly, and she had a hard time coming out of her trailer that day because she felt so uncomfortable. But then she said she thought Gwen is pretending to be something she's not, and she wasn't doing it well. Gwen didn't want them to celebrate Halloween, even though she was from Halloweentown. So the fact that her hair was awkward and her clothes didn't fit, she said, was really kind of perfect. She said, "I thought Gwen doesn't feel comfortable in your skin because she's not comfortable in her skin," like thinking that to herself.
So kind of like Martha Stewart, pretending to be
kind of
pretending to be not someone that she is. These are like pre-prison days.
This was a different time. Saying the words Martha Stewart evoked a different image back then.
This is pre-Snoop Dogg days. Or Snoop hangs.
Pre-Snoop. We're in pre-Snoop right now.
We sure are.
We're in our pre-Snoop days. Somebody will say that about us eventually.
We're so young and innocent.
Joey Zimmerman played Dylan Piper, also with a handful of TV credits before and after the movie, one being credited as Soda Kid in Lizzie McGuire. I can almost kind of vaguely see like what episode that would be in my head. I was kind of surprised that Joey hadn't done more work, but guess what he did do? Return for all 3 of the additional Halloweentown films. All of them. They asked him back. He looked pretty old too. I mean, he looked as old as his character, but and his character was only 1 year younger than Marnie's character, but he is also a man.
It doesn't. Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't matter for men as much. They can look their age, and it's like not like offensive.
Yeah, because that's how we've socialized our society. Mm-hmm. It's not offensive for a man to be old. In fact, silver fox is a term. Men get to age gracefully.
If a woman becomes a silver fox, she's a witch. We could like change.
How apropos.
The female silver fox could be like the lynx.
Okay. Sure.
And then like when men go silver or gray, they could call them like, yeah, he's like a warlock.
I'll take it.
He's like a wizard now. You know what I mean? He's a Gandalf the Grey over there.
Steve Carell. Most attractive he has ever been right now.
I know, seriously.
He is a beautiful man. And yeah, never would have known it.
No, yeah, I know.
We all got to go through our awkward years at some point.
Nobody will ever look at him the same.
Emily Roski brought us Sophie Piper, perhaps the best character in this whole movie. And save one episode of ER, the Halloweentown franchise made up her only TV credits.
Wow.
Because yeah, they brought her back all 3 times too.
They brought Soapy back?
They brought Soapy back.
Soapy. She reminds me so much of I don't know who. It's the little girl in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay.
It's the youngest sister.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, they're the same kid.
Sure. Makes sense. Robin Thomas plays Calabar, and he had been a working actor throughout the 80s and 90s with a bunch of very similar, like, one-off TV credits to Judith's, but he did return to the DCOM scene as Glenn in Horse Sense and the second Halloweentown movie. But there's a reason he wasn't in the 3rd and 4th.
Okay.
Philip Van Dyke played Luke, the local punk kid. Mm-hmm. And his credits are exciting because in addition to being the most experienced of the kids prior to this role, he was the voice of Arnold Shortman for most of seasons 2 and 3.
What?
So, hey, Arnold.
Most of what we covered so far, really.
We have said his name before, but yeah, it all clicked when I was doing this research and I was like, oh yeah.
I didn't put the voice together though. I didn't hear it.
It was him. And there were other minor cast that I would like to talk about, but I tried not to extend this already kind of double-stuffed episode too much more with additional cast details. But I did want to say that hip sales creature, all one word, the ghoul that sells the brooms, that is really his credited name. He was played by Kenneth Choi, and though this was his very first role ever, he has been acting pretty much ever since this, most notably in over 160 episodes of 911. But you would never know it, because in this role, you couldn't see his face.
Yeah, no, totally.
Pretty funny.
Was he the Elvis impersonator in the Goosebumps episode?
Wouldn't that be serendipitous?
Wouldn't it be?
And now, with our cast list explored and our production story told, it is time to curl up with your candy and that wistful ache of Halloween's gone by.
Don't forget to light your pumpkin spice candle.
Honestly, maybe even more than Hocus Pocus, the beginning of this movie gives me that instant dose of childhood trick-or-treating nostalgia.
It's a good intro.
It's a great intro. Through the trees, with Mother's Baw's twinkly, haunting score, we see a grinning jack-o'-lantern, and as the opening credits are displayed, we dive through to the candle inside, which is mysteriously snuffed out.
That is some foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Right up top.
I mean, honestly...
But it's not the black flame candle.
It's certainly not that. But I'm not going to lie, after our Halloween tree research and our history of Halloween research and everything about the folklore of Halloween, anytime a jack-o'-lantern, the candle and the jack-o'-lantern goes out, it like gives me, the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Like, it freaks me out because I'm like, something's coming. Like something dangerous is coming now because that is our protection. The light and the jack-o'-lantern protects us.
And without the light, there is only the darkness.
Darkness.
But we're then whisked to the suburban streetscape where laughter and zigzagging trick-or-treaters fill the night with something more than mischief, something more than a sugar high. We have talked about this specific feeling since our very first episodes 4 years ago, but there always seems to be more to say and more opportunity to give this feeling. Childhood Halloween.
Just ask Ray Bradbury.
Yeah. Childhood Halloween is everything, even for the Piper kids who aren't allowed to participate. Sophie, the youngest, is melancholy at the window, watching the trick-or-treaters avoid their house. Still, she believes,
somebody's coming.
Someone's coming.
Someone's coming.
She can just tell. Her brother Dylan is immediately skeptical and annoyed, and that's when 13-year-old Marnie descends the staircase, fully in a rage, trailing behind her mother Gwen, who refuses to let her go out on Halloween. She's making every case she can think of, insisting that 13 is plenty old enough to be making her own decisions. But her mom's rebuttal is vague and shaky.
I have my reasons, and I will explain them to you when you're taller.
God, I remember thinking I thought I was so smart.
When you're 13, you really think you do know it all.
And you do until you turn 14.
Yeah. Till you turn 23. And you're like, oh.
Until you turn 34.
Is there an age for that?
Marnie's friends, who seem to have stopped by on their way as a last-ditch attempt to free her from the shackles of her mother's prejudice, pitch that Marnie loves weird stuff. She's always drawing ghosts and vampires during class. Halloween is like made for her. Hey, me too.
Hey,
me too.
me
But I feel like telling her mom that she's not paying attention in class, it's not really.
Well,
it's
also
not,
telling her
it's not doing what you think it's doing.
She's also really into all the things that you think she shouldn't be into and you disapprove of. And so like they're just ratting her out like, shut up.
But also, yeah, they're trying to appeal to her mother's sense of like, don't you want your daughter to have the things she wants?
No, she doesn't.
Maybe not. Her mom sends her friends packing, and Marnie takes it up a notch, claiming that poor Sophie is being kept from a normal childhood, and it has turned her into a wall ornament. This is 90s pop psychology at its finest, from the mouths of babes.
I mean, she's kind of a jerk to her mom.
Oh, vicious.
Marnie kind of sucks.
We have a lot to say about that. That is honestly one of my biggest pieces of commentary from this whole movie, because watching it as a kid, I was appalled. I was like, I would never.
Yeah, you were, because, I mean, no, you could never talk to your parent. I mean, that's the thing.
Never.
Kids in these movies and these shows and stuff that we watched growing up, they talked like adults to their parents all the time, and that did not fly in my house.
No. And I know there are people listening and people out there who had much different relationships with their parents where that was more normalized, or you had more agency, or it was a different ballgame. But around here, and at least in our circles, not that I didn't have some autonomy with my parents, and I feel like more than some kids that I knew.
Yeah.
If I had talked like this,
done.
All bets are off.
Yeah.
You are so done.
Forget Halloween night. Every night.
Every night.
For the foreseeable future.
Dylan, who is sat reading The Flagship on the couch, and I looked that up, and it doesn't seem to be a real book, by the way, but correct me if I'm wrong, thinks it's obvious why Halloween is bad. I mean, that old razor blade in the apple was an urban myth, of course, but all that candy causes cavities and gum disease, and those masks everybody wears have these weird kind of toxic fumes inside that make your arms go limp, and Marnie says it's too late for him. No,
but is the mask thing for real? Because they smell funny.
They do smell funny, and I think that's what he's talking about.
They do smell really weird. Make your arms go limp.
I could smell it.
No, I know that smell. It's
I knew
right here
exactly
in my face.
what he was talking about. It's like it was on my face. Ugh.
No, I mean, like, I have such mixed feelings about this kid because,
Me
my
too.
God, shut up. First of all, no, be quiet.
First of all,
stop ruining our good time.
Stop being a buzzkill
with your logic.
Yeah.
But it's also like, yeah, thanks, buddy. There were never any razor blades in the apples.
Exactly.
Thank you.
We know a thing or two about this because we've talked about Halloween at length, and I appreciate that they called out these myths right at the top.
I do love
because
that,
they
yes.
weren't interested in the suburban fear-mongering or indicated right away by the tone and omission, even the evangelicalism that might have precipitated Halloween non-participation in certain circles and at the height of the satanic panic in this time.
Right. They were like, we're not going to perpetuate this.
Right. They wanted it to be apparent that Gwen's anti-Halloween attitude was caused by something else entirely, something more ancient.
That's a
deeper knowing.
Good point. I also really appreciate how, Soapy at the window, she's there, like she's saying, someone's coming. And obviously that has this ominous, foreboding feeling, like some things coming to the house. But it also doubles as they never trick or treat. They're about to get trick-or-treaters. No one ever comes to their house. But also on a third layer, she is the witchiest of them all.
Couldn't agree more.
So she knows that grandma's on the way.
She knows.
She's feeling 3 different layers on Halloween night.
Marnie, I'm sorry. I know that you want to go out with your friends, but there are just some things about Halloween that you don't understand.
Oh, right. Like there's some big, mysterious reason why we can't go out. Face it, Mom. You don't trust your own kids.
That is not true.
Oh, yes, it is. You keep us all in this big bubble. I mean, how are we supposed to grow up if we can't explore the world, try new stuff, and take some risks?
Whoa.
Okay, that was a lot. It's almost like she was just like written by an adult.
Who is saying all the things that adults think the kids are thinking and saying, whether or not they are consciously thinking them.
They wish they could have said to their own parents. Maybe it's a little bit of vicarious living there.
Maybe
But
that.
I do remember the time that my mom was being, overly protective like moms do. A very similar situation as this, although I don't think it's because I'm magic. I don't think it was for any
Not that you know of. You're still holding out hope.
Actually cool reason like that, no. But I did say something along the lines of, you have to let me make the mistakes first so I can learn something, Mom. Let me screw up first.
I feel like we all had versions of those conversations, and I have plenty to say about that.
You gotta stop trying to protect me. How am I ever gonna learn anything, Mom?
Keep that energy.
Do I have to keep the voice while I do it?
It's a requirement.
Oh, no.
Teen Christian.
But I don't want to. I don't wanna.
Yikes. Your poor mom. Poor Pamela.
Hey, look, I'm a potato. Are you happy now? Maybe I'll put down some roots in the carpet. Oh, no, Marnie. It's too dangerous. There are things about vegetables that you don't understand.
Oh, my God. Go to your room.
Yeah, it's a tantrum of sorts. It's the kind of thing you can only say when you're 13 and you think you know everything.
Think you know everything.
Gwen, who I feel is making both solid and questionable parenting decisions all at once, as it tends to go, allows Marnie to have her big feelings.
Way too patient.
Like we were saying.
But... yeah.
I don't know if my instinct that that's too much, that's over the top, and that's not okay is because of the way that I grew up, or if Marnie's just expressing herself. It's a weird line. I don't know if that's just what it's like when a parent holds space for a kid that they know doesn't know everything.
Yeah, I think there's a balance there. I think, you can let a kid have space and feel their big feelings. That's important. But there's also a line of
respect.
Just outright disrespect against humanity, not even me as a parent. Like, you're just being a dick right now because you're mad. Be mad, feel what you want to feel.
But you're not. You can't be a dick while you're mad.
You can't be a dick because you feel that way.
Right.
That's when your feelings are now projected out into the world and it's everyone's problem. Mm-hmm. That's where the line is drawn.
Right.
From my perspective, in my opinion.
Right. When you're making it other people's problems, you should be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a child or not.
I don't care how old you are. You should be held accountable for your actions. You there are consequences to actions. And if you don't learn that as a kid, you don't learn that as a freaking adult.
Yeah. Social consequences are important. We talk about cancel culture. There's a lot of directions we could take this. Yeah. No time. There's no time. But, yeah. Social consequence is an important part of learning and growing up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Don't let your kids treat you like shit. You gotta do something about that.
Well, this has probably been going on for several Halloweens, and it's now reaching this fever pitch, and Gwen isn't ready to be honest just yet because her clock is running out. She's really close if she can just hold out a little bit longer. So despite being undermined handily in front of her other two children, she basically rolls her eyes at the outburst and is pretty secure in her decisions, or secure enough not to defend them to this 13-year-old, and shuffles Sophie off to get ready for dinner. But we have already started, and here we have it. It's a place that we visited often before in things like Labyrinth, Pagemaster, The Final Wish. Mm-hmm. The central conflict in most any coming-of-age tale is the big, bad, pubescent conversation. This is kids learning how to individuate and parents learning how to let go. And this movie is saying everything quiet out loud with Halloween as the catalyst. So we pretty much can't not love it around here.
Are you saying this whole thing is an allegory?
You could say that. And speaking of allegory, I often think about how this sort of thing was so subtle. It's much more of an undercurrent than something said aloud in my own life. And obviously this is a movie, but I do know people who had much more of an open relationship with this sort of talk and conversation. Like parents acknowledged it out loud and kids acknowledged it and things were discussed. And for me, it was just kind of this thing that was happening to me. There were never words around it on any level.
Nobody ever once talked to me about puberty or about sex or anything of that nature.
And it's sex, and I'm going to talk about that as well because I think there are direct comparisons and correlations. But it's also just I would have never felt comfortable questioning any of my parents' decisions at all. If I couldn't go somewhere or do something, most of the time I got to do what I wanted. And if I didn't, I usually could trust that they had a reason why not. I feel like I made cases sometimes I really want to go see this friend or go do this individual moment to moment thing, but there weren't sweeping, you can't go out on Halloween, you can't, I don't feel like it was like that. I feel like my parents did a good job with making me at least feel like some of that was collaborative,
right?
Even though I don't know whether that was intentional. And also the thing that I cared most about at that age and at most ages, frankly, was fiction, and I was able to watch and experience pretty much all the things that I wanted to, right, especially again in comparison to other kids that I knew growing up, maybe aside from Harry Potter.
I was going to say not Harry Potter.
So yeah, other than that, I didn't have a whole lot of complaints, but that submission and acceptance was also partly due to my conflict avoidant nature in general as a person. But it was also partly because we were all steeped in this deeply fundamentalist conditioning. My parents had their own sweeping authority that they were readily answering to, and I accepted that chain of command and all the restrictions that were handed down through that throughout my teenage years. So I wasn't really like in a position to argue because I believed in the same higher, like we answer to a higher authority. Like I believed in that chain of command, so it wasn't really a big deal to me when I was of the age for it to have been like hormonally, I guess.
I mean, by that point you've been brainwashed to the extent that all you have to do is mention the higher authority and you just kind of go, oh, that's why. Got it.
That's why.
And you didn't question it.
Yeah, for pretty much everything. It was like, that's why, then that's why. And I accepted that. And honestly, my 20s were probably considered far more rebellious, if anything, because I had finally started to ask the questions that I probably could have started asking when I was 13.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be an uncommon phenomenon.
Oh, yeah. You're never too young to start questioning the authoritarian figures around you.
But I had a really good childhood, all things considered. This is hard, no matter when or how you do it or in what paradigm. And the thing is, regardless of religious or social considerations, it's rarely, I'm not going to say never, but rarely malicious, truly, on either side of this. In most parent-child relationships, the trouble with individuating comes when the parents take their children's individuation as a personal affront, or children lose sight of the love and experience that is backing many parenting decisions.
Yeah.
So when one or two of the parties lose grace for the other party in a way, that's when it gets really difficult. And again, everybody has a different picture of what this process looked like in your house, in your family of origin, and different difficulties handed down. Some people didn't even have those figures there to do this tug of war with. And everybody strikes kind of a different balance. And honestly, this film is displaying the complexity of that dance across multiple generations because it doesn't just end, it doesn't just stop, and Gwen is experiencing it too. Yes, you're an adult, yes, you have autonomy, but you're always going to have these relationships in your life that are kind of a push and pull, and you want to give in enough and be present enough while also holding your own space, and it's you got to do both, and generations really like straddle this.
Again, Stars Hollow.
Stars Hollow.
If you want this shoved down your throat for what, 8 seasons?
Working on building.
Just go watch Gilmore Girls.
Stars Hollow. Yeah, that is accurate, truly.
It's a great show. Rewatching it currently.
Yeah, I'm always watching. I'm never not watching it. But regardless of your relational circumstance, biology will biology. And there aren't perfect answers to these questions. Some personality types and some relationships will weather this storm better than others, but it is downright uncomfortable no matter how you experience it. Do you know what can make this a little bit easier, though?
Movie nights.
Movie nights. Plus, education, knowledge, and developmentally appropriate transparency.
Ah.
While Gwen is entitled to her decisions and likely has her own lifetime of magical trauma, that doesn't make her inability or unwillingness to explain her reasons automatically okay. For some reason, and spoiler alert, we're going to get there, this is really early to be talking about all of this, I recognize, but in my memory of this movie, I thought that Gwen's dealings with magic were more traumatic than they were revealed to be. Because we don't hear how her husband passed away. And in my mind, I had kind of just built it in that he passed because of a magical circumstance or something bad happened with magic. And that was why she swore it off.
They could have done that, but maybe that was too heavy handed for a DCOM.
And maybe that was in a draft and it got taken out. It feels really close to what could have been the truth of this story. But it wasn't presented like that. And instead, it seems to be more the way that it is on screen, that the grass was just always greener for her. She never fully embraced her roots. And she felt that feeling of being ostracized and feeling like the outcast. And she just always wanted to be normal.
Yeah.
And then when she fell in love with a mortal, she wanted to make sure that her kids had that opportunity, rather than being thrust into this magical destiny that she didn't ask for. So I respect this, but we talk about it a lot. This swinging pendulum can so easily overcorrect.
The pit and the pendulum, right. No, what we need that adult-oriented draft, that early draft.
I would love
to tell us how he died.
Love to know what it said. Either way, Gwen has spent 13 years guarding these secret powers, the knowledge of them from Marnie, powers that would change all of their lives as they know it, and she only has a few hours left to conquer before Marnie is safe. But Marnie doesn't know that, and neither do we yet. Marnie is kept completely in the dark, and she is understandably and probably most frustrated about the ambiguity. especially when there's this inherent pull, this knowledge that goes deeper than anything Gwen could say and anything Gwen could hide. Because Marnie is becoming a woman. I mean, a witch. And Marnie is capable. She's very savvy. She doesn't want her reality to be denied. And that's essentially what's happening to her. She's being gaslit. And I think in general, more than they want power or like authority, kids just want to have sovereignty and like have their capability acknowledged in developmentally appropriate ways. At a certain point in development, it almost feels insulting to be dismissed like you're unworthy of an answer. And I feel like just like Marnie, most kids want to be considered deserving of truth and trust and respect, even if they can't articulate that or even if they don't really know what to ask for. Because when you know better, it doesn't feel good to be talked down to. I think this also perfectly illustrates the inefficacy of ignorance or abstinence-based education or behavioral conditioning in general. For example, you aim to protect your kids by not telling them about magic or sex or drugs, etc., ignoring the reality that sex and drugs and magic, in this instance, do exist. And they're eventually going to enter a world that contains these things.
It's like going to happen whether you tell them about it or not.
Right. It's out there. It exists. The reality of it can't be denied. And I know in some circles or families or even, I don't know, whole ass regions of the country, it's presented as if sex education will lead to an increase in sexual behavior, for example.
Just doesn't make any sense.
And that kind of fear-based thinking has been used over decades to shape policy and curriculum and lives. But research shows the exact opposite. When you're informed, you generally make better decisions across all age groups. And as we've said before on the show, ignorance is where the absolute darkest stuff manifests and not in the fun way. That's where shame, guilt, fear, abuse, sneaking out at 13 years old to visit a whole different world full of villainous and non-villainous monsters at midnight, that's where all of that comes in. But
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, magic and Halloween.
Again, getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay, so if she keeps the witchy children in the mortal world through their 13th birthday or something, do they just suddenly not become witches?
Yeah, they lose their powers.
They do?
They said it like once. They didn't say it clearly.
So that's real.
That's real. They will lose their powers if they aren't established or accessed by their 13th year, their 13th Halloween.
So it can happen before then because obviously the other siblings are magical and they're not 13.
Right. No, yeah, you have your powers all along. You're supposed to be being trained. And if you don't train and access and harness your powers before your 13th Halloween, then they disappear.
If they're not realized before 13. Got it. See, that was a huge question I had. Yeah. In my defense, watching it this time, I was watching it with a baby and a 6-year-old, and it was very difficult to concentrate. So I was like, I'm missing things.
They said it maybe a couple times, but that's how their magic system works.
I see. All right. It does make logical sense. I mean, Arlstein did that a bunch in Goosebumps. Like, oh, you get your fangs at 13. Yeah, you're a vampire. Like, you know, you age into the moment.
It's biological.
The metamorphosis of your whole being.
But my point here is that ignorance may be bliss, but it's also far more easily manipulated than knowledge, no matter how you slice it. And I believe it's important for parents or caregivers to reject fear-based thinking like this, as if the mere mention of a complex concept is enough to corrupt innocence, especially in an internet age when innocence is far more likely to be accidentally eclipsed far earlier and in much more harmful ways. So instead, why not enlighten and equip? I just can't understand why caregivers wouldn't think it better to give kids the tools to cope with reality instead of willingly pushing them into a world that they fundamentally don't understand because they weren't given the opportunity to.
Do you really want TikTok teaching your kids about sex?
Someone's going to, so it should probably be you.
If you have a daughter, do you really want some boy teaching her about sex?
We've talked about this. I remember talking about that at length during our Toxic Love episode 4 years ago.
If you don't teach your kids, someone else is going to.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the youth group leader unless it is.
And that's no better.
In a bad way. It's like hands-on, like I'm laying of the hands, praying on you.
Yikes. That's what you meant by hands-on. But yeah, all that to say, no shade to Gwen. I know she's doing her best. She's a single mom of 3 kids. She's keeping it together, and she's trying to keep Marnie safe.
Yep,
but
single mom.
As much information as your kids feel ready for or think they can handle, obviously you know your kid, and if you're paying attention, you understand. Those developmentally appropriate conversations and milestones can make all the difference. And this is something that sticks with your kid forever. And is it uncomfortable? Is it awkward? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Are there resources to make it less so? Yes. Can you build in a culture into your family and your life that make it feel less uncomfortable than it was even for you, or, you know, whatever your experiences are, because you're bringing your discomfort to the table with it when that was put into you as well, and it should never have really been.
Right.
Yes. There are ways to fix this.
I understand being avoidant about
sure.
this. It's obviously a deeply uncomfortable conversation to have, especially when you were raised to feel discomfort about it. And like looking at, you know, the context of this movie, she didn't have a support group. She didn't have anyone helping her navigate this conversation about magic with her daughter. But in real life, you know, look at the allegory. In real life, there are resources, like you were saying. There is help out there. There are.
I'm not even a parent, but I follow several resources about this topic just because if you are around children at all, it is better to understand developmentally appropriate ways to exist and be and talk about it, because this is just life. It's just reality. It's not that this topic is bad or shameful or wrong. It can just be harmful in the wrong circumstances.
Totally.
And we've just got to we've got to reconfigure that. We've got to reprogram that. Us as a generation, and saying,
for sure,
we're doing okay, but we can always do better.
Strive for perfection, as Plato would say. It's the only way to be your best.
And speaking of education, Dylan, playing immediately into the trope of the middle child, insists that Marnie take up an interest in something more useful, like nature documentaries, since
Halloween gives little kids dumb ideas about there being magic. Like that helps them prepare for life.
Shut up.
Which it's really, but it's so funny because it's this, but in a you're just pointing it in a different direction in a flashlight. It's like, it's really funny. Marnie reminds Dylan that Halloween is exciting and strange and ancient, and it's when their parents met after all. But Dylan recoils at the mention of their father, insisting that they shouldn't bum their mom out. And Marnie should pick another holiday to get hung up on, like Arbor Day. Trees are important too, Dylan. I agree. But out in the world, amid the Halloween hustle, a good witch-like older woman descends in a flying school bus that, magically, no one seems to notice.
Yeah.
But it's not Miss Frizzle, and it's not Mary Poppins. In the kitchen, Sophie attempts to sneak a cookie, and Gwen says they're for after dinner. But it turns out Sophie's whims are a little more powerful than your average 5-year-old. The cookie floats up behind her, and Gwen quickly shoves it in her mouth before Sophie realizes. In the same instant, the woman materializes behind Gwen, as if she'd always been there, and is revealed to be her mother, Agatha Cromwell.
Aggie.
The kids are all thrilled to see her, wondering why she's been gone so long. She blames her absence on one thing and another, with a pointed look from Gwen, but says the important thing is that she's here now. Marnie asks her mom not to fight with Aggie, saying that they haven't seen her in over a year, seemingly blaming her mom for any tension that exists.
Of course, yeah.
They parade into the living room where Agatha pulls out her bag containing a ton of old school candy, garlic to ward off vampires, stones with hieroglyphics from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and a necklace with a pentagram Marnie recognizes from Lon Chaney using one in The Wolf Man.
It's a great movie.
No one appreciates her taste in weird stuff except for Grandma Aggie, who starts talking about how, if she's not mistaken, this will be Marnie's 13th Halloween. With every item and every revelation, Gwen grows more irritated, asking to speak to Aggie in the kitchen.
Absolutely, dear. As soon as I get the children into their costumes.
Costume?
Marnie's a Wiccan, Dylan's a goblin, and Sophie's a ghost. I'm sure a lot of millennial and who knows, maybe all generations of parents can relate to this scene, with grandparents continuing unbidden with their own grandchild agenda, which directly contradicts whatever had previously been established in the household. Honestly, though, even if they couldn't trick-or-treat, costumes at home seems like a pretty good compromise.
I mean, seriously.
Just let them wear the costumes, you know?
That was my thing was like, let them at least like watch scary movies or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Costumes and scary movies or something.
It's always a good time.
And not to mention, if the magic is what's coming for them, it's going to get them inside too.
Yeah. Who cares if they go out on Halloween?
That's what I'm saying.
What's the difference?
They finish dinner, and Aggie corrects Sophie on her ghostly enunciation. Ghosts tend to be very depressed creatures anyway. But then, it's time for bed, right after dinner. And I looked it up, and Halloween was actually on a Saturday in 1998. So it's not even a school night. And as much as we've been shitting on Marnie, Gwen is pretty damn strict.
I mean, hey, kids got to go to bed sometime.
While the kids get ready for bed, Aggie starts in on her true agenda, encouraging Gwen to move home. She says with William having passed, there's nothing keeping them where they are, but Gwen contends that she likes living where they do, where they can have a normal life. And Aggie thinks being normal is vastly overrated. When Gwen notices this familiar conversational loop of defending her choices against her mother's chaos, she stops short. As much as we're struggling with Gwen's choices, I feel like she is kind of holding these generations together with her maturity because she's kind of choosing not to bite. She's not going to make it about that. As afraid as she may be of letting these generations merge, she's deciding not to argue because she knows their time is limited, and she does allow her mom to tell the kids a story.
Yeah.
But on her honor, she shouldn't talk about home. So what does Aggie do? In the girls' room, Sophie is tucked into bed and Marnie sits eagerly nearby. Dylan tries to play it cool, literally, sticking his head in to make sure they know it's most energy efficient to keep their thermostats at 68 degrees overnight to conserve energy. Obviously, it's a ruse, and he's pretending like he doesn't want to hear the story. But my question was, do they have window units and individual thermostats to be checking?
Yeah, like who's he telling this to?
Yeah, this is kind of transparent of you, Dylan.
My story is about a magical place where many different sorts of creatures live together in peace.
Like Cleveland?
I wouldn't be so sure. She lists off all kinds of spooky creatures that call Halloweentown home. Monsters, goblins, ghosts, vampires, gnomes, skeletons, Dybbuk's, those are from Jewish mythology. I think we've talked about them before.
I believe so.
Banshees by the dozens, and of course, a few fine witches.
I don't like witches. They're mean and scary.
Oh, no, sweetheart. I mean, they're just like everyone else. Some are kind, some are mean. That's the way they use their magic.
I don't know how to feel about this because it's like, on the one hand, she's totally going against her daughter's wishes. It's like, you got to let your kids parent their own kids, even if you disagree with how they do it.
Right.
But on the other hand, I'm like,
these kids should know about Halloween and they love it.
They should know that they're magic. They should know where they come from. So I'm torn.
I felt that way, as I was writing all of this. I was like, I can't really side with any one perspective here because I see value in both.
Well, I think what would have helped clear this up is explaining why she's so against the magic in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's really the missing piece. That's why it's hard to take a side or take a stance because
it's all ambiguous.
Isn't
we don't know
she's
why.
Not actually talking about why. And Aggie then brings out some pretty compelling lessons and arguments.
You can't tell what's in a monster's heart just by looking at them. I mean, sometimes some of the slimiest, squanchiest, ugliest little monsters turn out to be the nicest.
And I do appreciate that.
Don't I know it?
Da-da-da-da.
The Addams Family. Dylan jumps in, wanting to clarify for Sophie's sake that this place is all pretend. But again, I'm down for these lessons in any reality, pretend or not. Aggie says she didn't make it up, but read it in a book, so maybe it is real, which shouldn't be our only criteria for what's real, and presents them with Halloweentown. As they flip through the book, the pages reveal a witch flying on a broomstick, one that, according to Sophie, bears a striking resemblance to Marnie.
It is me.
They did base it on Kimberly J. Brown. The props department did.
She doesn't look anything like you. She's way too cute.
And with a wink, Aggie says, perhaps Marnie has a secret life we know nothing about.
There's nothing special about me.
Oh, no, dear, you're very special. You're a Cromwell. And since the dawn of time, the Cromwells have been the most powerful.
It's getting late. You wouldn't want to miss your bus back home.
Grandma has to go?
And they acknowledge that if she's here past midnight, it's a long time until the next bus.
Is it like a whole year?
It's a whole year. Marnie's forlorn and clutches the book in the darkness of her bedroom, while Gwen and Aggie argue over dishes.
Are you on the verge of breaking a tradition that goes back more than 1,000 years?
Your tradition, Mother, not mine.
She actually said those words this time. I know I usually make that joke, but this was right out of Gwen's mouth. Gwen believes it's her choice not to train her daughter like a witch, but more exposition clues us into the fact, again, that a witch's training is supposed to be complete by age 13. And if Marnie doesn't at least begin training tonight, she'll lose her powers forever.
Okay, that's where it is.
That's where it is. We learn that their father was human and Dylan lacks powers, and soon Marnie and Sophie will be normal too. Marnie is sneaking down the stairs during this conversation and hears every word. Aggie's still determined, and Gwen searches exasperated for a Tupperware lid. Aggie reminds her that leftover chicken keeps better when it's back on the bone, snapping her fingers such that a whole live chicken appears in place of their fried chicken. But Gwen has had enough and tells Aggie that it's been years of her dropping hints and trying to sway Marnie, and she knows that's why she came tonight, but the clock has finally run out.
That's fun magic, though.
I mean, yeah, to have a grandmother who's just doing casual magic throughout the house.
Casual magic.
Practical magic.
I was going to say,
even.
can that be the sequel to Practical Magic? I know they're making it a Practical Magic too.
Casual magic.
Just casual magic.
I like it. Let's do it.
Cash Madge.
But as much as Aggie thinks that Gwen is making a horrible mistake with Marnie, she says that's not what brought her to town. She needs Gwen's help.
Well, something is wrong at home. Every day I find another neighbor has changed, turned hateful, it's frightening. And soon after that, they disappear altogether.
We have that problem in modern America also, though it's usually not the same neighbors turning hateful as the ones who are disappearing.
Hey. we're not a political podcast.
Only when we have to be, which is all the time.
Only when we are.
Aggie says, it's as though something or someone is trying to return us to the dark times, and I fear my power alone may not be enough to stop it. I need another Cromwell witch. I need you. Gwen says there are plenty of other witches and warlocks in Halloweentown, but Aggie's dismissive. You know how it is today. No one wants to get involved.
Is she talking about now or 30 years ago?
Hey, Darklings, get involved. Because, hey, something or someone is trying to return us to the dark time.
But I can't just leave my kids to go fight some nameless force in another world that I have nothing to do with.
Fine. Bury your head in the sand of that precious mortal world of yours. Perhaps the Cromwell line will end with you. But let's just hope that Halloweentown doesn't come to an end along with it.
There are so many layers to this. Like we're saying, it's hard to say that any one person is right or wrong, but I can say that not all of them are handling it so well.
Yeah, no.
There's the guilt, and there's this bid for this like generational cultural obligation. And there's also this element of like exhaustion, you know, just the constant cycle. Like there is this big bad thing happening, but I'm one person. What can I do about it? I have to just keep my house running. I have to keep my, you know, kids going. I have to keep the wheels on this thing. And I know a lot of us feel that way right now.
That's how they want us to feel.
Yeah, exactly. Resistance can be in anything and everything we let it into.
They use the information age as a weapon against us to keep us exhausted and complacent.
And you know, we're usually proponents of breaking generational curses and cycles. We talk about that all the time, but we can acknowledge that sometimes there is value in tradition.
Sure can be.
And sometimes, especially when you descend from a race of marginalized peoples, or you're from a land, a place, a home of peoples who are marginalized in a larger community, sometimes they do need you. They need your help. They need your support.
You know, there's this really great quote, with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, just think if you're a witch, you're made of magic, and you have great power in you, you have a great responsibility.
There is an inextricable element of responsibility when it's that deep inside.
And you kind of can leave your kids and go do this because like the time difference.
Yeah, the time difference. They're not even gonna know
it's
you
like
left.
They'll be asleep for 20 minutes before you get back. Like, what's gonna happen?
Marnie immediately rushes to tell Dylan what she overheard, and they watch Aggie out the window as she crosses the street with her suitcase following independently behind her. Marnie rushes to change and pack with the newfound knowledge that her powers are on the line, while Dylan tries to stop her.
Dylan, haven't you ever wondered about the stuff that goes on in our house? Like why Mom won't let us talk about, watch, or read anything that has the word magic in it?
Not uncommon around these parts.
Haven't you ever wondered why we pretend Halloween doesn't exist? Or why I have deja vu all the time? Or why stuff seems to fall off the shelves whenever Sophie's a tantrum?
I can only imagine what the last 13 years have looked like in the Piper home. Can you imagine, because these kids are pretty close in age, like especially Dylan and Marnie, can you imagine these toddlers running around? Or she's just like, okay, you don't know you're using magic when you're mad at your brother and...
Yeah, causing chaos, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it just makes me think of when Hagrid's talking to Harry in the first book, and he's just like, you ever done something you couldn't explain when you were angry or upset, you know? It's like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's almost like they based a lot of this on Harry Potter.
Gwen is busy watching an infomercial and tossing out all evidence of her mother's visit, so Marnie and Dylan sneak out undetected and make their way to the bus behind Aggie. But this is no ordinary bus. A Frankenstein-type creature converses with a goblin about how it's just not like the old days. People have changed. I was a demon from the underworld, and they say, big deal, I saw the same thing on Jerry Springer.
It's an outdated reference.
It's a very outdated reference, and we are infinitely still, even now, harder and harder to scare us humans.
I do love a fat Frankenstein, though. It's fun.
The kids lose sight of Aggie while marveling at the town square full of sinister spooks, but run into a friendly man in a suit and top hat. He's Calabar, mayor of Halloweentown. And I've just got to say, good on Sophie, who refused candy from this stranger's ear. They explain that they're Agatha Cromwell's grandkids, and he asks if they're Gwen's with a middle-distant gaze. He used to know their mom. He calls in a favor with Benny, the skeleton-turned-cab driver, to drop them at Aggie's residence of over 200 years. Benny gives them the lay of the land on the way up, explaining that Halloweentown has some characters that aren't the most savory, including the local punk kid, Luke, as they pass by, who's said to have made a deal with a shadow creature for better looks. I'd say Benny was being kind of needlessly judgmental about this child, two other children.
Except,
but
we know better.
Somehow, in spite of being safely driven several miles by an entity with no eyeballs, Dylan continues to nurse his skepticism as they walk toward the Cromwell gate.
He's probably animatronic. Disneyland's full of stuff like that.
Here, when Mr. Lincoln drives me to the store, we'll talk.
Disney Parks joke.
Disney Parks
joke.
And they get to do that because it's a Disney movie.
The gate is locked, and Marnie uses this opportunity to try out her newfound powers. Abracadabra. Open sesame. I looked it up because I don't know if we've looked it up before. And by the way, open sesame comes from Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Mm-hmm. It may be in reference to how sesame seed pods open when they mature.
I think we actually have.
We may have
talked about these before.
It sounded vaguely familiar, but I didn't know if we had said those words. So, refresher, if you were curious.
I'm pretty sure we covered abracadabra when we did Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. As Marnie and Dylan argue over the correct magical proceeding, Sophie takes matters into her own powers.
Sophie, how did you do that? I pushed.
As they walk inside, she says,
Plus, I wish Luck would turn into a frog.
Who else was waiting for the reveal that Marnie doesn't have magical powers, but Sophie does?
Yeah.
That Sophie is the generational witch, not Marnie.
Mm-hmm. If there's only one.
If there is only one. See, I kept thinking that was the big reveal because she did everything.
She did.
Every time. Marnie did nothing. Marnie doesn't do shit in this movie.
I know.
Sophie does everything.
They talk it through in the office. We come upon it where her mom says that she's been like suppressing this in Marnie too.
I don't know. I was waiting for the reveal that it's all Sophie.
It basically was.
And that Marnie was just going to have to get over it because her younger sister's the witch.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, she was so shitty to her mom the whole time. It's poetic justice that Marnie would not have the powers that she
would actually not have them.
Thought she had and deserved.
And she's just supposed to support Sophie.
Yeah. That would be great. I'd love that movie.
Be an interesting moral too.
I just mean, they gave Sophie a lot of fun moments.
And even if they all do have powers, I like the implication that Sophie is still more in touch with her powers because she's younger. She's like closer to the source of it.
And Marnie probably was too when she was her age.
Yeah, and I think this trope kind of exists for a reason because Sophie's younger. And any younger character that has like an ability or a divergence like this, they've spent less time internalizing the ways of the world and less time unwittingly having any unusual traits socialized out of them.
That's true. They're much more in tune with their imagination before that's beat out of you in school.
They don't know why things can't be true, so they might as well be true.
Yeah.
They run up the path and find Aggie stirring up a pot of boxed witch's brew, like it's mac and cheese, which she promptly places into a microwave with bubble, toil and trouble settings.
I noticed that. I love that.
That's a great joke. That's really good.
It's such a good joke.
And I wonder if any like Etsy sellers make boxed witch's brew like they do with Ivan's Ooze.
I'm sure they do.
That'd be fun.
I'm certain that they do.
But Aggie is interrupted by a premonition, same as Sophie's. Someone's coming. She greets them pretty casually for three kids who've just traversed time and space, at least acknowledging that their mother will be upset. But she quickly agrees to let them stay a little longer when they explain that they want to help her fight the bad thing. Dylan wants to call Gwen, but Aggie says they haven't worked out long-distance calling between worlds yet. Inconvenient as that may be, what is terribly convenient is, as you said before, time works differently in Halloweentown.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours till midnight in the mortal world could translate to 2 days of Halloweentown hijinks, or 2 weeks if you're on vacation.
So there's no set time difference.
Chaos, man.
So this is just like an alternate dimension.
Yeah, it's just a whole different place.
I see.
Aggie shows them her ancient witch's glass, which is a giant bubbling cauldron that looks more like a portal, and she's been using this to keep an eye on things. As she gestures above the glass, a sinister face swirls into focus, laughing maniacally. This is the evil force at work in Halloweentown, and she believes she has just the thing to stop it. She retrieves a box and lays it out on the table for the kids to examine. A talisman, a crystal ball suspended in a wand shaped like the claw of a raven.
Merlin himself used this talisman to end the Dark Ages over in the mortal world, and I think it's just the thing to tackle our troubles here in Halloweentown.
And about now, her microwaved witch's brew is ready.
Are you going to use your magic to raise some spirits, have a big seance, and call in the forces of darkness to get it going?
No, I'm just going to fill it up and see if the light goes on.
See if the light goes on. I'm just gonna put the batteries in and see if it works.
Yeah, I'm just gonna turn it on. If I can get it lit and install it properly, she says, it should suffice to drive away the force that threatens us.
I mean, not that it was difficult to figure out later in the movie, but she could have explained what installing it means.
Yeah, that's so vague.
It's an extra 4 words, you know what I mean? It's like, I need to
install it in the square or
in the jack-o'-lantern
something.
in the square, in the middle of town, right in the dead center of town where the jack-o'-lantern, the big jack-o'-lantern is.
That's where I have to install it
in the center of the jack-o'-lantern in the center of town square.
And yeah, she totally could have said that, and it would have saved Marnie a lot of stress.
Again, not that it took her longer than 30 seconds to figure it out, because, you know, they were pressed for time.
They were, and there are only so many places that an installation of such magnitude can be.
It was some very quick critical thinking skills.
Marnie finds the whole thing lackluster, but Aggie says she is going to say a spell over it, and that spells are much more powerful when there's more than one witch joining in, especially if they're Cromwell's.
Mm-hmm.
Marnie is ready and willing, but Aggie knows that it's no use without her training, so she'll need to make do on her own. At this point, I'm like, Sophie's right there.
Yeah, right there.
She's right there the whole time. Aggie chants an incantation and waves her hand, but a brief light in the talisman flickers and dims.
Rat. That's what I get for trying to use instant. Just doesn't work like it does when you make it from scratch.
She should have known better. She's so worried about the darkness that's about to take over Halloweentown, you know?
Yeah. Why? I mean, I get that you're pressed for time. You know, time is of the essence.
Why would you scamp on materials?
Seems pretty important. Marnie decides that that's what she can do. She can make witch's brew fresh. So they look up the ingredients. Vampire's fang, hair of a werewolf, sweat of a ghost.
I suppose we could get these ingredients in town, but we have to be careful not to reveal our true purpose. I can't be certain who to trust anymore.
Back in the mortal world, Gwen is transfixed by a hair loss infomercial. Works like magic. And she's enjoying the candy that she apparently didn't have the heart to throw out. But Gwen, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? It turns out she doesn't.
Yes.
But she gets a pretty good guess.
You said it.
I did it.
In context, that wasn't forced by me. You did it.
Aggie leads the children through the town square, where they pass dozens of ghouls and ghosts and even a cyclops. And Sophie wonders if there's a Halloween parade, but Aggie says that's how they always dress. And I want to go to whatever Halloween parade Sophie knows of.
Yeah, no, seriously.
When has she been exposed to a Halloween parade?
Yeah, how does she know anything about that?
Maybe she just knows parade, Halloween, and just put them together
maybe.
When she saw a bunch of creatures.
Always dressed here. The people who started your Halloween, just imitating our traditions. Mortals see, mortals do.
She recounts that this was actually how their parents met, when Gwen crashed a mortal Halloween party. She goes on to explain that there was a time when all of Halloweentown's creatures coexisted with humans, but it was a bad mix because humans feared them and tried to destroy them. So they did their best to make them miserable in return. But it was turning them evil, which Aggie says they were not. So they decided to create a whole new world for themselves, and she glossed over the details of that undertaking, but magic is magic.
So this is not Harry Potter?
Not Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
I was mistaken.
No, this is called Halloweentown.
Oh, different movie
Sorry.
based on Harry Potter?
No, just a
No?
standalone, independent franchise.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Aggie says that this distance allowed the monsters to settle down, have homes and children and jobs, and an expert bowling league. And I don't know if it's sad or sweet that when safe and unoppressed, all any of these magical, metaphysical, undead creatures actually want or aspire to is human life.
Yeah.
That's all.
Just a normal existence. We've talked about this so many times.
See, maybe Gwen's onto something. They stroll past the movie theater where she says they get such riveting titles as It's a Wonderful Death, but the theater is mysteriously closed. And then her neighbor, kind and sweet Harriet, who we saw in an earlier vignette making muffins for the headless shelter,
Such a sweet Scottish lady.
brushes past, completely disfigured.
Yeah, that was a pretty
One of the scarier reveals.
horrifying moment.
They pop into the ice cream shop next door to follow Calabar, and Aggie tells him what she's seen.
This is what I've been telling you about. If she's like the others, then by tomorrow she'll have disappeared altogether.
He seems sympathetic, but tells her it's far too dangerous for her to be involving herself, especially with the kids around, and to give him 2 days to look into it on his own.
Mm-hmm.
But even as a kid, I could see right through this conversation.
Yeah, you just give me, 2 days,
2 days.
Figure it out.
Well, looks like you got your eye on our Windsweeper 5000.
By now, Marnie has found the brooms, and they join an undead Elvis impersonator at the display as he tries to sell them on a new ride.
Hey, little mama. It's Johnny Bravo.
It was always funny to me, the look of the cool 90s brooms in these modern silhouettes with the day-glow bristles.
They look so 80s,
They do,
They look
yeah.
so of the time.
They look dated, modern dated. And it's another joke like the microwave. It's clever. But I can't see any self-respecting ancient witch reaching for a chrome-plated bright orange unibody broomstick.
No, because they already have their broom. This is for the new up-and-coming new age witches that are
New
teenagers
age
now.
of witches. I see.
Yeah, no, they've already got their old brooms.
Either way.
Whole shed full.
Although they might appreciate tech upgrades when it comes to convenience, like the microwave. If the magic is moving all of these brooms and there aren't any improvements in like speed or agility or use, it seems that the witch aesthetic would trump the trend, but what do I know?
Hey,
Trends are powerful.
it's a Disney movie.
While they peruse, the whole group is approached by local punk Luke. I'm just going to use that as his title every time I speak about him.
Local punk Luke.
Acting like a wiener.
Oh, that Luke dude. He's turned into such a wiener.
Totally.
They call him a wiener. A dick.
I can't imagine just like walking up and just like, hey guys, I'm so cool.
He calls himself a big cheese.
Kind of a big
which
cheese
no
around
creature in their right mind has ever done on approach, ever.
Especially not a cool teenage boy.
And asked Marnie out in front of her whole family, mispronouncing a name he shouldn't have even known yet.
Hey.
Tuck that away for later.
Yeah.
Tuck it away.
Tucked it in.
Is it tucked?
Mm-hmm.
Marnie soundly rejects him, and like any burgeoning maladaptive misogynist, he immediately channels his attraction into anger. Not that they were ever very far apart, threatening as he exits stage left that he knows some very powerful creatures.
Mm-hmm.
What girl on the apps hasn't heard that? I'm not on the apps, I wouldn't know.
Don't.
Been about 10 years and I have no desire to return. I gotta meet my creatures the old-fashioned way.
It's the same creatures that were there 10 years ago.
Right, those are the ones still on the apps.
Well, you want me to write that up for you?
No, we'll fly it out.
And when she said that, this bumped me as a kid because she was like implying that they would take it home. If you're gonna fly it out, where are you gonna leave Dylan and Sophie? And like, what are we gonna do? But it turns out they were taking a test drive, so it's fine.
Yeah, you know, whatever.
But on the subject of magic, I did love how Aggie describes it as she and Marnie take flight.
Magic is really very simple. All you have to do is want something and then let yourself have it.
Yeah, this was the moment for me.
Don't I know
This
it?
was the moment for me where the whole thing clicked and I was like, okay, that's what actual real life magic is.
That is.
Because, I mean, when you look at it in the context of this whole analogy of like suppression, repression, oppression, of like constantly not letting yourself have the things that you want because you're told you're not supposed to have them or not supposed to want them in the first place.
Yep.
Self-actualization is magic. Magic is self-actualization. Like, it's when you get to the point where you go, I want this. I don't see a reason why I can't have it. I'm gonna let myself have this.
Yeah.
And that's why when I crave ice cream at 10:30 in the evening, I go get it.
You go get it, because that's magic.
That's true magic. You know?
Yeah, you said it so I didn't have to. This resonated with me as a kid, and even more so now.
You know what I did this morning? I wanted a honey butter chicken biscuit.
So you went and got one.
I went and got two. I went and got two for myself.
Magic.
And it was the most delicious, exquisite magic
That's
I've
magic.
had in a long time.
I don't have very much of that specific magic in my life right now.
Oh, it was so good.
It's real hard to cope, but I know what you mean. It's honestly not always very simple to know what you want, and it's even less often very simple to let yourself have it.
You're right.
But I do believe that magic is a great word for what it feels like when both of those stars align.
Mm-hmm.
Honey butter chicken biscuits and all. It's really important. It's really important, genuinely.
Yeah.
Magic is so important.
It's there if you want it.
They return from their test drive and are intercepted by Gwen upon landing. She's as upset as expected, and they all begin speaking very sternly to each other. Marnie is adamant that she'll stay and learn everything her grandma can teach her.
Grandma needs help. And since you won't help her, she needs the only other Cromwell witch there is. Me.
Again, Sophie's right there. She's right there. God. Gwen says there's so much more involved than Marnie understands, and when Marnie stays indignant, Gwen turns to ice. There's so much fear in her, you know?
Yeah.
She says that Marnie will not stay, and she's grounded, which, according to the score that's swelling behind them, is the saddest and most profound threat that she could make.
Oh, gasp. She's grounded.
They head to the ticket counter, where a set of conjoined twins...
Yeah.
There's your sideshow reference, Christian.
I love it.
They're too busy arguing with one another to provide her with the bus schedule.
Classic.
Marnie's making all kinds of threats as they wait.
I'm never talking to you again, you know.
My life miserable. Oh, hey,
And I'm never going to school again. And I'm going to move someplace really far away and join a motorcycle gang.
Gwen says that this isn't their world, and Marnie says it used to be hers.
Are you going to get tired of us too? Oh, sorry. Those aren't my kids. They used to be my kids, but I've moved on.
Again, harsh.
Yeah, dude.
It's so harsh, but it is indeed sardonic 13-year-old logic.
Again, go to your room.
The bus is having engine trouble, so they naturally decide to do what any random visiting tourist would and ask the mayor for help. Inside his rather ornate and spooky office, a goblin assistant whistles at the sight of Gwen. Gwen is surprised that Calabar has become mayor, and he's pleased to see her.
A little bit too pleased.
He revives a rose and offers it to her.
You always did let your magic do the talking. Thank you.
You know what this guy reminds me of? Max Medina.
He kind of does, doesn't he?
Max Medina.
Max Medina. Stars Hollow. Stars Hollow.
You used to like it. Or have you forgotten that part?
In front of her kids.
In front of her kids. And she's like, well, no. Blink, blink. And he offers to take her on the Styx River cruise, which is, of course, a nod to the River Styx, the mythical river that serves as the boundary between the living world and the underworld. Or
the one just down the highway.
You know, a backwoods Alabama hangout. Yeah.
You can go tubing during the summer.
Pick your poison.
It's a fun time. Minus all the, snakes you can't see. The occasional alligator.
He wants to show her all their old haunts, and she's clearly flattered, but admits that she was just trying to leave. He gets an urgent message and says he needs to take care of something, but he'll help when he returns. The kids immediately clock that he's an old boyfriend and insist that if she marries him, they're not calling him dad.
They're way too casual about their dead father.
Yeah, all the time.
They have no feelings about him whatsoever.
Aggie was saying, now that he's dead, you have nothing holding you here. So that implies that it's kind of recent.
It must be, but these kids feel nothing for his cold, dead corpse. They just don't care about the shell.
They're only worried about how it affects their mom.
Of a decaying body that is their father. They do not care about him. How old is Sophie, do you think? 8?
I said 5. She's probably 7.
I think she's 7 or 8.
That's probably more accurate.
But it's been less than 7 years since he died.
Exactly.
Marnie would at least have some feelings about it. Mm-hmm. She's older.
Distraught, Aggie is then accosted on the street by Luke, who feels the inexplicable need to rub her nose in her troubles. But again, he knows more than he should know.
I know you've got Merlin's talisman, and he wants it. He? Who is he? Don't know, huh? It's funny, because he knows all about you, and about that brew you're working on, too.
She's unfazed, wondering if he's so powerful, why doesn't he show himself? But Luke says that that's why he is here. He wants to reveal himself to her. In Calabar's office, Marnie continues to wear on her mom, finally getting her to admit that it's true that she's a witch. And it's funny and kind of sweet how Marnie still hasn't fully embraced it and doesn't believe it until her mom admits it. Mm-hmm. She still respects that, channel of information and authority. And I remember how that feels.
You always do on some level.
You always do.
No matter how upset you were.
Gwen tries to keep her quiet, saying she hid Marnie's powers from her just like she's hiding Sophie's, because they're all living, not so happily, ever after in the mortal world. Mm-hmm. And Marnie makes a scalding point.
If you want to give up your roots, that's fine. But I don't. And it's not right for you to try to make me.
This is a really good point, and I'm not a parent, but it is interesting to consider what it would be like if I did have a child, or a child I was caring for or whatever, is following down a path or going down a path that was difficult for me. It's like you were saying before, you have to let me make my own mistakes kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Not in every case is it even a mistake or the wrong thing. It might be the right thing for you.
It's so complicated because if you're talking about something that's like an aesthetic, it's just a phase, you're going through, because you're a goth kid.
Yeah.
That's almost superficial and meaningless compared to you're a magic entity.
Yeah, for sure.
From another realm.
Yeah.
And this is your whole life.
Right. This is your heritage, literally.
This is your heritage, this is your history, this is your family. It's there's so much more to this that we can never compare to because we're mortals.
Right.
So it's just such a complicated thing. Cause my dad went through this when I got a tattoo when I was 18.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my parents too. Yeah.
He sat me down and was like, what are you going to do for money? How are you going to have a job? How are you going to have a future? How are you going to do anything?
Because that was the thinking. And they were saying it lovingly, but
yeah, he explained it too. He was very calm. He said, when I was growing up, the only people who had tattoos were criminals and sailors, and sailors were just as good as criminals. So this is how I see you now.
Right. You've grouped yourself with these.
And he was like, so I don't understand this. It freaks me out. Yeah.
It's outdated thinking. And even then, it wasn't a sign that you were a horrible person. You know what I mean?
And for sure. But then looking at Marnie, it's her being a witch doesn't mean the same bad thing's going to happen to her that happened to Gwen.
Yeah, this to me is, although still not even close to 1-to-1, there's no real way to compare this because, again, it is like this heritage. It's something that's in her. It's her genetic DNA.
Yeah.
The thing that I feel like could be closer comparison is like a faith tradition or something that you have like left behind or walked away from, and then maybe your child wants to pursue something like that. Or,
I mean, religion is,
religion, or even like a career path or something, like a family business maybe that you didn't have interest in, but then your child does. And, you know, there's probably a lot of complicated feelings. Like it's hard to just categorically decide that because something was wrong for one person, it's wrong for another. Right. All you can do is present facts, information, education, harm reduction. That's all you really have. But what works for one person may not work for
But also
everyone.
Communicating why you hate it in the first place.
Just like your dad did.
Yeah. Just explain it and like help us understand.
Just explain it. And then sharing the perspective, getting that shared perspective makes all the difference.
I see your fear. I see the reaction, but help me understand the why. Where does the fear come from? Let me just like see behind the curtain a little bit.
I think if everyone did that all the time, like more consistently or better, we would live in a much better world, healthier.
Because like fear reactions are easy to react to, you know, in response.
From your own fear.
Fear begets fear. And then like in the Bible says, and then fear begot fear. And then fear begot fear.
And then fear begot
and then
fear.
Fear begot
it was fear all the way down.
For the next 200 pages.
Sophie notices that Aggie's walking away with Luke, and Marnie can't abide this, running off to help. Gwen follows as middle child Dylan laments.
Why did the troublemakers get all the attention?
There's so much meta, like, parenting psychoanalysis from these kids, which was I feel like a common 90s thing.
It was also a very Disney thing, I think.
And a very Disney thing. Luke leads Aggie into the closed theater, where rows and rows of Halloweentown residents are cobwebbed and frozen, ever staring into the silver screen.
It's the closest thing to spooking me this movie did.
Yeah, that is the scariest visual by far of the whole film, and it's pretty spooky.
But then you realize that the skeleton is probably just a skeleton. It isn't like a
person
rotten
that
corpse
died
that
there.
became a skeleton.
Yeah, it's not like a Goonies skeleton.
Yeah. Like some pirate skeleton. You're just like,
there is a difference.
Oh, this is just like an entity that is a skeleton.
A tornado appears, more magic than projection, along with the ghoulish figure from the witch's glass.
Welcome to my museum.
And his villain's monologue reveals that they're very much alive, frozen in time until he needs them. He's bending all of Halloweentown to his will, and he wants the talisman too.
So kind of like the Imperious curse. He's just sort of using them as puppets to do his bidding.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I tried to find some deeper meaning or understanding, but I guess it's really just kind of the classic power-hungry villain thing, huh? Until more information is revealed later.
Yeah, I suppose so.
His monologue is interspersed with quips from Lackey Luke, the punk kid, you know, further dulling the scare factor shine.
Lackey Luke.
The punk kid. He begins zapping his magic at Aggie, but she says, "A creature hasn't been born that's quick enough to catch a Cromwell." She's going to eat those words in a second. Gwen and the kids burst in, and Gwen goes full witch mode, casting a semi-successful spell at Luke as he tries to detain them. I said powers, not flowers. She rushes to defend her mother, taking the time to tell Marnie to keep her brother and sister back, and enunciates every letter before she's caught in the crossfire and drops. Anybody in that circumstance would say, keep them back, stay away, back up, any other words than that, probably. But she's caught in the crossfire and drops limp into the theater seat. To see your mom violently struck by insane theater ghoul magic is pretty dark.
It was very unexpected. The two powerful grown witches are just
down for the count. Easily
indisposed. Yeah.
They've built some peril, but I laughed out loud at the next couple moments, which completely undermine any emotional payoff and feel, although they weren't, we know, like a studio note meant to dilute the terror. Aggie, as she's freezing up, says,
"You'll be all right. Go! It's just an evil spell that freezes us. Go!"
I feel like even this phrasing just screams, tell the kid audience out loud that you didn't just kill off their parental figures.
Yeah.
Just tell them, just say the words. Just tell them that.
Their parents aren't dead.
They need to hear that right now.
That's where the applause came from.
Yeah.
You totally undersold your own plot. Wow.
Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted.
We love it.
It is pretty intense that the grown-ups are no longer in play, like we just said in Power Rangers, and like we say pretty much every single episode, as parents are dismissed from the narrative to force that coming of age. They race out into the sunlight, where Marnie promises a terrified Sophie that she's going to get their mom and grandma back, and they agree to work together to finish the witch's brew. So, it's around town montage time.
Take a gander. Look at you, sweetheart. You are coming along like a fat fry, baby.
First, they visit a beauty salon run by a flamboyant werewolf, because every late 90s and early 2000s movie had a weirdly appropriative beauty shop scene. Did they not? And yes, I am thinking of New York Minute again. Olsen involvement.
I'm thinking of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire also. Marnie distracts the werewolf by asking about a part-time job while Dylan shaves a lock from the back of his head.
God,
scissors would have been
so
easier.
Much hair, right?
I think. Next, they head to a local gym where an aerobics class is in progress, taught by some sort of cat-woman hybrid. I'm not sure what kind of monster she is.
It's a werecat.
A werecat, I suppose. Mm-hmm. They head downstairs to the steam room, passing an aquatic monster Sophie calls Snotman, but I'm with Dylan. Sweat of a ghost? Ghosts are dead. Why would they worry about fitness?
Mm-hmm.
I think Tears of a Ghost would have been more appropriate.
Tears of a Ghost.
I like Tears of a Ghost.
She did say
they were depressed, so I feel like that would have been great.
Did they think it was too sad?
I don't know. Maybe they just thought it wasn't as funny.
I think you're right. Yeah.
They watch as a ghost enters a sweatbox, and Marnie walks very conspicuously over to a dial on the wall, turning it from hot to hotter. And Dylan distracts with some fun facts about sea monkeys being shrimp and there being no official name for the back of the knee. I don't really know why they needed to distract him so much, just to the fact that they were in the room, I guess. You'll think this is less weird if I'm talking at you with these facts. I don't know.
I'd be like, get out of here. I'm half naked, you kids.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be in here.
Yeah, it's weird. And then Sophie dons a towel and does her best ghost impression, much to this guy's chagrin.
Hey, kid, I don't appreciate stereotypes like that, all right? Sure. Make fun of the transparent guy. Just because you can see through us doesn't mean we don't have feelings.
And again, the sentiments are nice, even if they are played for laughs. It was the 90s way. Just ask Sarah Whittle.
It sure was. But like this kid just spouting off facts like this, it kind of just makes me feel like a series of unfortunate events. Like, why
Klaus
is there...
like, I have information.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why is there always this like sibling dynamic?
The structure.
The strong-minded older female, the middle sibling, intelligent boy, and then like the younger like
Sunny.
wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunny and Sophie.
Same thing with Mrs. Doubtfire. To keep coming back to that.
Violet, Marnie, Dylan, Klaus, Sophie, Sunny.
This happened over and over.
Yeah, that's true.
What is this?
One drip of sweat from his nose, which they catch, and he's suddenly screaming for the attendant. But he can apparently open the box at any time.
Yeah.
Which he then does, having lost several pant sizes. Nothing about this scene really made any sense to me at all. But I'll let it slide.
And how would one drop suffice? It's one drop in a whole potion.
Yeah, that could just evaporate.
Yeah. On their way home.
We're both really aggressive about that. Last but not least, they visit the dentist's office, where a ghoul who calls himself the Tooth Fairy just so happens to be extracting a nervous vampire's fang.
Wow, Doc! That didn't hurt at all!
Well...
Somehow Marnie sneaks in and dresses like a dental assistant just in time to retrieve the extracted tooth. Magic, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Benny rolls up outside and seems eager to give them a ride back to Aggie's. But, again, he knows too much.
Say there, if it ain't the Cromwell kids, I hear your mother's in town.
It's like the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken a bite now. He knows too much. That's your tell. But Sophie's intuition about this is loud and clear.
What is it, Sophie? The bad thing is in what?
Pretty dark.
She's the witch of the family, Marnie. Take a back seat. Go to your room.
Benny's friendly demeanor shifts, and he's suddenly threatening them to get in the cab or else. And they're saved by a dog. Sophie lets off leash. Because you know how dogs and bones are.
Yeah, they always chasing the bones.
They always chase the bones.
Them bones.
Luckily, they're able to magic their way back to Grandma's house, where they mix up the brew in record time. There's just one problem. Marnie can't remember the spell. And then there's Sophie, quietly reciting the spell to herself.
This creepy ass little kid in the corner just like...
The
most powerful Cromwell witch, ladies and gentlethems. I kind of wish they had her like expressly catch on by this point, because she's still like dismissing her own powers the same way her mother does, like she's been taught to.
Yeah.
She's like, it sounded pretty, so I made up a song for it.
Right.
Like she doesn't even realize what she's doing fully.
It's that thing with kids. Like Mike Flanagan does that. You have to have the kid mispronounce words.
She's just falling into that dynamic, I guess, that her mom has taught her, that these things are normalized and repressed.
If she'd been more like Theo, she just would have been like, I just knew.
Theo Crane, I love you. I guess, though, the real takeaway is that it's easier to want and let yourself have things as a kid.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
The girls give it another try, holding the talisman together, and surprise, it works. Talisman in hand, they head back to the theater for Halloweentown showdown. They check that Gwen and Aggie still have heartbeats, and when a simple wave of the talisman does no good, Marnie remembers the second step, installation, without any of the helpful information to go along with that. But she quickly comes to her own witchy conclusion.
Well, when it's dark on Halloween, where do you put the candle? Come on.
And as you said earlier, it's a big allegory for when the jack-o'-lantern is lit, when the candle's lit, when we have this source of light, the darkness can't find us.
It's a source of protection, right?
Luke intercepts Marnie as she's making her way to the town square, addressing her as if they've been lifelong friends. He apologizes, saying he didn't know her mom and grandma would be hurt, but it's nearly a moot point because the bad thing then appears on the roof of City Hall, black clouds swirling and shifting in his wake, and a crowd conveniently gathers. Further exposition indicates that he's angry about their exile, that they've been forced to live in this second-class world for too long. He wants the citizens of Halloweentown to join him, to celebrate the evil within us, and to reveal ourselves as we really are.
Voldemort?
Voldemort? Is that you?
Oh, Voldy.
It's all kind of convenient and glossed over, and the assumption is just, yes, the big baddie wants an army to overtake the mortal world or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just kind of taken at face value, but it doesn't make a ton of sense. And he's saying we're truly evil. That's what's within us. And Aggie's already said but we aren't evil. We're just, so it's like you're evil, but you're projecting that onto your whole race.
Yeah, it's like
your whole kind, your whole population. It's weird. It's weird.
It's pretty heavy-handed from his perspective. It's like he's misunderstanding the history.
Yeah.
But if we look at it as an allegory, he's not saying those words directly like he is in the movie. He's just talking about the old days and how things used to be.
Right.
And that was the true America. The true wizarding world.
Halloweentown.
And how we need to make Halloweentown great again.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's just trying to idealize and romanticize the past because it made people like him, it put people like him on a pedestal.
Right.
And it made
he felt more powerful somehow.
Right. It made him feel better about himself.
And we're going to learn just how personally he took it.
Because he could get away with things then that he can't get away with now.
Yeah, could be.
Because too many eyes are watching. I'm still talking about the president. Oh my God, I'm still talking about the mayor.
We're talking about Halloween
of Halloweentown.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, no. It's not an allegory.
Don't get it twisted.
It's just an allegory.
How dare?
It's just more relevant now than it was 30 years ago.
Of course, he morphs into none other than Calabar, and they say, "I can't believe Mom dated that guy."
Yeah,
He's busy being like, "Follow me, and we'll reclaim the mortal world, which is rightfully ours." Director Dwayne Dunham said, when Calabar materializes on the roof, he was shouting so much that Robin actually lost his voice.
Yeah.
And he had no voice for several days of filming, and that was a bit of a problem for their schedule.
I believe that. He's really projecting. He didn't need to that much.
No.
Considering it's film and not a theater production.
Yeah, it was how he was choosing to embody the character.
It worked for the character. I get it.
Luke is intent on righting his wrong in this impossibly quick character arc and swaps cloaks with Marnie, which is enough to fool the most powerful warlock/evil entity in town and get Marnie all the way to the top of the jack-o'-lantern before he realizes. Calabar does manage to zap her just before she's able to install the talisman. And, oh no, hope is lost.
You see, my friends, the power of evil is stronger than good.
What? You really just, you didn't have to. Anyway.
But being bad just feels so good.
Feels so good to be bad. Until, in her frozen state, Marnie remembers being mean to her mother. She remembers the trick to magic. And she remembers being a Cromwell. This gives her enough gumption to open her eyes and let go of the talisman, which, again, thanks to magic, falls neatly and perfectly in the center of the pumpkin. The crowd is bathed in its golden glow, and Calabar falls, immediately defeated. The hypnosis of the theater breaks with a gust of wind, and with it, the spell on the frozen townsfolk, including Marnie. It appears that the family is safe once again, reunited in the town square, and Calabar, as venomously as he can muster, says,
You could have had me, the most powerful warlock of all. You could have ruled with me as my queen, but you chose a human instead.
So, this whole big honkin' power trip was simply, once again, the work of jealousy and ego and fragile masculinity.
Because he was rejected by a woman.
Because he got rejected by a woman 10 to 20 years ago.
Yeah.
He was rejected once 10 to 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there are many men, many a creature, roaming this planet right now with similar villain origin stories. They may not think themselves a villain, but they are a villain in so many more lives because they were rejected once, many moons ago.
Absolutely.
I'm all for love. I understand heartbreak. I have been dumped. I have been heartbroken. We have all walked these paths in life. They teach us things. They build our character. They show us and reveal more things about us and who we really are. This is a PSA to anyone, male or otherwise, I suppose. Anyone whose rejection by someone a long time ago or even recently is influencing your behavior in a negative way, such that you're seeking power by harming other people, whether that be in your relationships or if you too are hypnotizing a theater full of citizens. Don't.
It's giving incel energy, Yes.
This is an attitude that I am frequently afraid of, that I talk about a lot, having been stalked, having been harassed in certain ways. It's not okay. Just let it go. You'll all be better off. You'll all be better for it. Recognizing that two people do not belong together is not the end of the world. It's not a cause to create turmoil in this realm or in any other.
It's not always a personal rejection. Sometimes it's just we're incompatible.
It often isn't. In fact, more often it isn't. Any kind of rejection, people taking it personally, just like I was talking about up top, right? In the parent-child conversation. When a parent takes a child's individuation as a personal affront and attack, same thing.
Right.
If you take someone rejecting you as that personal of an attack, it's never or rarely saying as much about you as it is about your incompatibility with that other person. It's not about who you are. It's about a disconnect between those two things. And that has to be okay, or none of us are going to be able to keep functioning.
Yeah, no, totally. With outright rejections or breakups, it's not always about you. It's not about something you can fix. It's not about what you did wrong. It's always just...
sometimes, but...
Not
always.
The things that were done wrong were just a result, usually, of the incompatibility.
Right.
Most of the time, I would say.
And if you're not seeing these things eye to eye, it's all the more reason that you both entities, both parties will be happier in other situations or circumstances.
Unless you take your previous rejections or breakups and then you bring that baggage into your next relationship and then you cause the destruction of that relationship, then that's your fault.
And then
so you're better off just letting it go.
But that's what I'm saying. This villain origin, when you felt small, when you felt rejected, we've all felt that, and you can alchemize that into something positive, where you are looking at your traits, looking at your flaws, looking at your hopes and dreams, looking at the things that you want, or you can become Calabar.
The off-brand Voldemort.
Marnie says, well, apparently she's a pretty good judge of character, coming to her mom's defense. And Aggie tells Calabar that his days of rule are over, but he says that she shouldn't underestimate him, and calls the talisman to his hand.
My darkness will spread unchecked, and I will be ruler of both worlds.
Now my darkness will spread unchecked.
Wishful thinking.
I'm gonna start using that. If I was down on the shoddy Power Rangers writing, I do have to at least say what the...
My darkness will spread unchecked. Keep it in your pants, dude.
Aggie is unafraid, taking out her own wand and chanting her own spell. Gwen quickly joins in and they join hands. But he says, don't waste your energy, bitches. I mean, witches. The rage and determination even sets Dylan's fingers a-glowing. Because guess what? He's a witch too.
He's magic too.
Hey, chocolate bar! You better give that talisman back or you're in big trouble.
Marnie continues to taunt him as she steps up to take her mother's hand, and Calabar laughs.
Do you think that your magic is any match for mine?
No. Let's see, my powers, and my mom's, and my grandmother's, and my sister's, and my brother's might do it.
And then she says,
hit it, guys.
Hit it, guys.
Hit it, guys. Those are the magic words, not abracadabra, not open sesame. And then the band kicks in behind her.
You just have to want it, and it, and that's magic. You just
kick
let yourself
snare.
have it.
They do hit it, and they all begin meditating, which was indeed worse than I remembered it being.
Yeah,
it's a lot like the scene in Elf. With Santa's sleigh, when they're like, you gotta sing, Walter needs to sing for this to work. Marnie encourages Dylan, come on, we need you, believe. And I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate the idea. When we're all believing in something together, when we're all focused on a common goal, when we're all united in that front and in that thought and in that, I believe in that. I believe in the power of that intention. It's all about centering yourself around your cause, your beliefs, supporting one another, going for it. Awesome. But
it's all about the power of family.
All about
coming together.
The power of family.
And choosing love over hate and accepting your
Isn't it cozy?
Your roots.
Isn't it cuddly and comfy? Isn't it just?
Grow where you're planted.
God. Live, laugh.
Nice.
The talisman glows brighter and brighter until it suddenly explodes into light, swallowing Calabar completely and returning to Aggie's hand. The day is saved, for real this time.
Until the sequel, Calabar's Revenge.
Until Calabar's Revenge. Obligatory apologies proceed between Gwen and Marnie concedes that there was a lot she didn't understand, and she's sorry for the things she said and did. And Gwen says she's so proud, and she apologizes for not trusting Marnie, saying she's everything she could have hoped for in a daughter, and so much more. So it kind of is that. It kind of is that Gwen didn't trust her. That was why Gwen didn't say more.
Because she's a dick when she doesn't get her way.
Right. Yeah, she had reason not to trust her, I feel like, in certain respects.
She overreacts completely when she's told no.
It's so tricky.
Go to your room.
Parents of 13-year-olds, shout out to you. If you have a 13-year-old or anything close right now, you're in the trenches.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Aggie says they've got quite a coven now, and Gwen rolls her eyes, saying they were enough of a handful before. Dylan's busy still trying to reason his powers away, saying it's static electricity or the Aurora Borealis he was reading about. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd like to have Aurora Borealis in my hands.
I want Aurora Borealis fingers.
Sounds fun.
But no, seriously, this kid, it doesn't matter how scientifically minded or logically minded he would kill for magical abilities.
Yeah, you would think so.
This is that kid who would be like,
I've never met a science-minded kid who wouldn't.
I know. Doesn't add up.
I get
for
the
me,
joke,
for
but
his character.
he should be at least a little bit excited.
No, he should be over the top thrilled more than any of them that he has magical
And that
powers.
would be cuter and funnier, probably.
Giddy,
There's one last loop to close between Marnie and her lifelong fated enemies to lovers arc, Luke, who she's now talked to, I think, 3 times. He's sulking under his cloak, embarrassed of his goblin features that have returned.
Want to know the worst part? I wasn't even under a spell or anything. I did what I did because he made me handsome. Guess it wasn't much of a reason for being all evil and all, huh? Especially since even when I was good looking, I didn't have a chance of getting a date with you.
Now he's suddenly suave and smooth and
Yeah, he's turned so much nicer when he isn't good looking. And the two things aren't mutually exclusive.
No.
They don't have to be. It's not necessary that a character, is kind and good. They don't necessarily have to be a goblin.
Mm-mm.
You learn a lot that way, but...
No, I mean, you're more likely to be that way if you were always handsome because you're socialized to be an attractive person and people give you things and treat you different.
We talked about that in The Dark Dragon.
Yeah.
It does affect how you're socialized, but...
It absolutely does. But if you go from unattractive to attractive suddenly... It's not a personality shift.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's almost like that first introduction scene when he's asking her out. It's like he's playing at what he thinks a guy that looks like that is supposed to sound like instead of just being himself with a nicer face.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense to me. I understand why they did it, but
it's possible that the magic, affected his personality too.
Maybe. But we all falter. He didn't know. He didn't know any different. He's a kid too. He's 13, presumably, also.
I'm kind of a big cheese.
While we're given relationship advice, never call yourself a big cheese.
It's more like cutting the big cheese.
Marnie kisses his cheek, and he's disappointed that he didn't turn into a handsome prince. But she says he did that before. When he helped her.
Listen, all you 13-year-old girls listening to this show, first of all, stop. But if you continue, don't forgive the boy that easily.
Yeah.
If he was a dick, move on.
Yeah.
Forget about him.
I mean, there are times. It depends.
Not at 13.
Maybe not at 13.
No, not at 13.
Let him grow up.
Yeah.
Let him mature a little bit.
Give it time.
And you should too.
Give it space.
Cut to a crowd of cheering, grateful citizens as the Cromwell family heads for the bus. Gwen plays coy, asking Aggie to babysit on Thursdays when her PTA meetings run long, before inviting her to live with them full time. And Aggie accepts rather quickly for someone who's vacating her entire world and way of life and residence of over 200 years. But I guess that's all okay when it means spending more quality time with your grandkids.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, she was wanting Gwen to move home, not to move in with Gwen.
The resolution should have been, we are moving here
to Halloweentown
because my children have proven that they can handle it.
Or like, how about we do a year on, year off? Like, something.
A compromise.
Whatever.
Halfway happy.
But Aggie's headed for the mortal world and whistles for her Mary Poppins sentient suitcase. And they're off. All of the quirky, creepy characters they saw and met wave goodbye as Benny shouts that he'll see them in the afterlife. He can feel it in his bones. And the bus soars off into the clouds, just like Grease, but different.
Or just like Little Nemo, Adventures in Slumberland.
And that is Halloweentown.
That's Halloweentown?
That's Halloweentown.
Wow.
I liked how Judith put it. She was talking about the movie and the impact of the movie, because obviously the cast has appreciated how this has resonated with a generation of people over time. Mm-hmm. Judith said, there's something about when you do stuff for kids and it just hits them at a crucial time. Kids like to watch things over and over again, and you never know this when you're doing something. I've been at it for years, and some things resonate with people and some things are just a blip on the radar. But this is one that really resonated, and that's lovely.
That's why I want to create children's media, and that's why I want to write kids' books. Because
you get in there early.
Yeah, and then you got them.
And then you got them.
You know, then you're stuck in there.
Propaganda.
But no, like it's a way to leave the strongest impression on an entire generation, or just on the individual mind.
I think about that with teachers. I think about that all the time, how I remember teachers throughout my life, and just you're making such an impact at such a formative, impressionable time.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you make any media for adults, they forget about it in, 6 months, a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you make it for kids and it resonates with them, that is lifelong.
That's echoing through their life.
That applies to so many things across the board. Like, kids are so good at also just like taking something that they observe like that and applying it to their situation automatically. Like, that's just what kids do.
I mean, it's what human brains are designed
thing.
to do. Yeah. You're listening to music, you're hearing stories, and you're applying it to your stories in your life. And it's helping you process and understand. And on that subject, sometimes I feel like I forget that movies like this exist, if that makes sense. Like with these like very simple through lines and plot lines, and everything is really straightforward, and they have their own rule book when it comes to the magic, and none of it has to be like particularly complex or even sound.
Sure.
They just make assumptions, throw it at the thing, and they don't explain themselves because they don't have to. That's not the point.
Right.
And I recognize not everything has to be as complicated as I make it. And I know Darklings out there are like, where was this energy when you were doing Power Rangers?
What?
But again, I can appreciate anything that finds an audience. And of course, I'm biased in the way that Halloweentown found me. I was around Marnie's age, and it made a lot of sense. And as heavy-handed as we keep saying some of these morals are, they're still pretty solid. And I think it's valuable anytime kids can see an example like this of someone embracing like a unique identity. There's empowerment in that, in any kind of coming of age scenario. Marnie is different, and that's never presented as a bad thing. It's really not even presented as a bad thing by Gwen.
Right.
She just wants her to be something else.
She just has an unexplained reason why she doesn't want Marnie to be the thing that she is, that we never hear. And it would have honestly just helped
That's the gap.
So much if we knew why.
And again, as we're saying, like when you watch these things as a kid, you are so forgiving to the point where when I was rewatching it for this podcast, for this purpose, I already had it in my head that like Gwen had a reason.
Yeah.
It was her husband's untimely death was related. Like I thought that was canon.
It makes the most sense.
I had already magicked that into my head.
Yeah.
Because that made sense to me. And so we, kids are going to do some of that to a degree. There's going to be the rose-colored glasses on something that they consume at this time. And I don't know, like Judith said, when you hit somebody at the right time with the right media across their life, but especially as a child, there's a lot of power in that, a lot of magic.
Yeah, totally.
On that subject, Kimberly J. Brown said,
I love Marnie and everything that she stood for. So I'm really happy when people tell me how much she meant to them. Marnie always knew there was something different about her, and when she did find out about her magic, she wanted to know everything she could and really fully live in that and be herself. She was just always really cool in that way. I admired her determination and her sense of humor and her willingness to take on her family legacy.
I think that was probably one of my biggest takeaways as a kid and now.
Mm-hmm.
Marnie knew who she was, and she wasn't afraid to chase that knowing as far as it could take her.
Right. That's hard to do when you're a kid.
It's really hard to do when you're a kid. It's especially hard to do when you're a kid and your authority figures are telling you not to.
Yeah, to like cut through.
To be able to know that and cut through that is so powerful. I feel like I know people who've had that in them. And I've also been talking with friends recently about like, I was very supported as a child. You know, my parents were there for me. They're in my life. I love my parents very much. But like, I couldn't sing in front of them. I didn't really like to show them stuff I was writing. Like it was, there was a disconnect there where I never felt a full, total acceptance there. And I was noticing like, especially like some Gen Z creators online and just people that make all of this off the wall, like crazy comedy or weird, like offbeat stuff or music, even people that are very connected to like their sexuality and music and things like that. People that just weren't afraid. They didn't have like creative barriers, and what a difference that makes when, you know, adults can kind of empower kids in that way to just be themselves and they don't have to feel like there's a compartmentalization with that.
Right.
It's a big deal. And I think Marnie's a really good example of that kind of kid that's just like, but I like this, but I do.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yep.
So, dear Darklings, as we close out this Halloween season and look into the witch's glass of the future, ask yourselves, who am I? Who do I want to be? What do I want? And then, hey, let yourself have it.
Let yourself have it.
Because we could all use a little more magic in our lives. Halloween time or not.
Yeah, this applies like to every day of the year.
Every
like,
single one.
Not even just spooky season, you know?
Yeah. Whoa.
My God, we finally did Halloweentown.
did Halloweentown.
You did it.
I did it.
This is what?
I don't feel like
the
it yet.
second or
I
third
put it off
year
for
we
years.
talked about doing it.
It has been on the actual schedule for 2 years, and I've gone bump. It was painstaking and difficult, but honestly, being here with you, Christian, having your commentary and conversation helped me a lot.
Well, you know, that's what I'm here for.
It was hard to fit the conversation into boxes as I was writing and walking through the film, and I decided not to. I decided not to apply the boxes and to just let it be what it was.
Don't check those boxes, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's the point. We don't have to fit in boxes, and that's okay.
Another Halloween.
Thank you, Darklings, for our 5th October. We're so grateful and appreciative that you're here with us. Please write in and tell us about all the mischief that you get up to on Halloween, or that you got up to on Halloween, if this is later. You can find us on social media at That's Pretty Dark Podcast, on Instagram at That's Pretty Dark, on TikTok, and you can send us an email at that'sprettydarkpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you would like to support us in a financial capacity, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/TPD podcast. We actually have a new patron to thank.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diane S.
Thank
As
you,
of
Diane.
today, we're recording.
Wow. We appreciate you.
Thank you very, very much.
Man, oh man. We're all trying our best, and I hope that resonates with all of you.
Yeah, I love how this Halloween isn't so much as like choosing life over death. It's like choosing to like live.
Choosing
really
to live life.
and be who you are. Like live your life the way that you choose to live it.
That has been my theme for quite a few years, and this year maybe more than ever.
Even if that means dressing up like an alien and putting on a radio show,
radio
broadcast for your
that's
town,
what you want to do,
your city,
do it.
And scaring the daylights out of people.
If that means installing trapdoors in your mansion.
Hey, if those trapdoors are squeaky, just call your local handyman to come oil them up. Go light those jack-o'-lanterns.
Light them. Light those candles. Let them burn brightly. Let them protect you from the darkness.
May your jack-o'-lanterns protect you.
May your jack-o'-lanterns be lit.
Hey, I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Oh my God. Happy Halloween. Spectacular Samhain. Congratulations, all of us.
All Hallows. Dia de los Muertos.
Another year in the candy bucket.
It's all happening, and we feel a little bit closer to all of you Darklings at this time of year. So we hope you feel a little bit closer to us.
We sure do. Come on, get closer.
Don't be a stranger.
Stranger danger.
And don't take any candy from their ears.
Bye now.
Bye.
That's Pretty Dark Podcast is produced by Kaylin Andrews and me, Christian Baxter Mott.
With music by Jonathan Simmons and cover design by Halftone Horror.
You can support our show by supporting our sponsors, or go to patreon.com/TPD podcast to unlock all the Pretty Dark bonus content we have in store.
Please share your experiences and let us know what shows, films, or villains still haunt you from childhood on our socials or at that'sprettydarkpodcast@gmail.com.
For all other information, visit our website, that'sprettydark.com.
Remember, you're never really alone.
So, until next time, sweet dreams, everyone.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey Darklings, Kaylin here. We know our generation has a surplus of pretty darkness in common, and if there's one thing unpacking our upbringing has taught us, it's just how essential therapy is for shining a flashlight on the darkness in our own lives. I don't know where I'd be without mine. I believe every human can benefit from the perspective of a licensed therapist. Whether you're familiar with your own inner workings or you're just looking for a listening ear, you can give BetterHelp online therapy a try by going to betterhelp.com/prettydark and receive 10% off your first month. I get that online therapy can be tricky, but I've been seeing my therapist online since 2020, and I'm here to tell you that it's absolutely worth it. Getting started is always the hardest part, and BetterHelp makes that easy. You can begin right from your phone or computer in whatever way makes you most comfortable, via good old-fashioned phone calls, video chats, or even messaging, if that's more your style. We enjoy this frightful nostalgia and learning about how it all connects, but Darklings know we're also passionate about healing and growing from what we learn. If you dare to do the same, head to betterhelp.com/prettydark. There you can answer a few questions, and BetterHelp will match you to a professional who has years of experience helping people like us. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time, so you're sure to find the right connection. Millennials are ditching the stigma and owning our mental health. And with BetterHelp, you can build a relationship with a professional all from the comfort of your own home, just how we like it. Visit betterhelp.com/prettydark or choose That's Pretty Dark podcast during sign up and enjoy 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/prettydark.